Welcome, humans. It's good to see you all. Well, actually, all none of you so far because we
Hello.
just hit the button and now you're coming. Now you're coming. We're really, really excited
49.
about today. It's going to be a lot of fun. Grant and I have been building our little tookuses off for many months on a variety of
Our
little projects,
token took us.
our token dookuses. And
Yeah.
we've
Amazing.
we've created a number of things that are useful to us. Some of them might be useful to others. They might not. But we've learned a lot along the way. We've failed a lot along the way. We've learned many of the things that we learned came through great pain and many mistakes.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Every app has been just a little easier than one before it so far, if I'm being honest. And so, kind of the way we're going to structure this is I'm going to walk through how I do it first. I'm using generally Codex with a dash of ChatGPT for most things. I've got some stuff on ChatGPT sites, which is brand new, and if you're not using it, you're going to want to after you see all this. Got uh, I'm showing off, I think, five of my apps. Grant has at least five, probably,
Yeah.
and kind of a hot list at the end. He's gonna mad dash through probably. Uh,
Yes, probably.
but we each want to show you how we do it, how we approach. I've got a project and what that looks like, what that involves, where we start, and what we do. If you
And the
haven't yet,
important thing to remember here, right before Corey does
go ahead.
the
Go ahead.
plug, is that we were not engineers, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever it might be. We have taught ourselves how to do everything that we are about to talk about today, um, you know, completely from zero.
And actual
So
learning
any
needs to be a big part of your process.
Yeah, yeah. So as we talk through this, we're going to share what we've learned so that you, as a non-engineer, can apply it as well and learn from our mistakes and learn from our successes as well. So I just
Yeah.
want to get that out there, like not from non-engineers, from zero experience to we were able to do this. And we're not saying they're, the most impressive things in the world, but we got some of these things to the point where they're actually finished and in the app store or online where you can check them out. So
Yep.
that is,
Yeah.
the
So we
preamble from
not
me.
everything has a link you'll be able to grab today, but some do, and we hope
Yeah.
you enjoy them. We'd also love your feedback. Because
Hmm.
we're both just getting some of these in front of people, and
Feedback is a gift, so we
that's right.
appreciate that gift.
To get started, I'd like to talk a little bit about how I approach this. I started out by just going and I'm going to say vomiting ideas into ChatGPT about what I wanted and saying, do this. And over time, I have refined that. And I'm going to recommend you do too, because what I've found is that planning makes such a big difference. So when I
Mm.
start, it starts either with a ChatGPT voice mode conversation or with me kind of context dumping into Codex in plan mode. What I'll do is I'll have an idea. Sometimes it's half baked. Sometimes it's pretty well formulated already. And I'll have this back and forth conversation. Like I want this app. I want it to be able to do this thing and this thing. I want it to be able to, I'll tell you what. I'll walk you through one of these and show you. So that'll be the best way to do this. So
Yeah.
this one was made Monday morning, okay? At Monday morning, I got to work and I was bombarded on Slack with a bunch of things. And I had this moment where I just oh god, I know I want to do all of the things. But there's too many things to keep track of. I've tried every task app there is out there, and I can't stick to them, hold to them. For one reason or another, it's just not built for me. So I decided to heck with that. I'm going to build one for me. So
Mm.
what I did was I just real quick on my phone because you can talk to your codex on your other computers from your phone, and I pulled it up and I talked to it on my bigger computer downstairs, and I said, build me I want to build. I want to build. I didn't say build me because that comes later. I said I want to build a task app that can uh, categorize where I can just quickly dump a thought and know it's there. I want to have tabs. I want to have Easy ways to pick a deadline. Let's have now, soon, and later as options. I want it to be kind of gamified because I am really, really motivated by that. Frankly, I am really motivated by having a number I feel like I need to beat. That is a thing that keeps me moving really, really big. So, so I said, plan an idea, and it plans an idea, which is wonderful. And then after I
I don't know if
have
you
like,
have
oh,
this ready to go, but do you have the chat where you started?
I do not. It's on one of the other
Oh,
computers. Is the problem?
we'll have to do that. Like if people want a part two of this, yeah, yeah.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. What I do have is 1 second circle. So I take ugh. What I do is I take that plan and then I go into normal Chat GPT. And while I'm in there, I uh, I tell it what I want. I tell it what I want it to look like. I tell it kind of what I'm thinking about. I want it to have a vibe, um, and it creates me a thing. Usually, I'll go hit a color palette website and be like, I'll look through color palettes and be like, I like this one, I like this one, I like that one. And so then I'll go to ChatGPT and I will bring it in and ask it to. I just saw it. Where did it go?
Which one are you talking about?
The card that I have it make.
Hmm.
Nah, it's coming. Agent collaboration tool. Let's look at tasks. I have it build a card with like a logo idea, some different color swatches, and like a mock-up of the tool the way I want it to look because it's really easy to make changes before it's code. So
Mm.
I take it and I go in and I'll have it do like I'll be like I want little tabs that are colored that look like this, and so eventually, let me share my screen here. I'll show you the app. This is Circle Back. And this is my new task app that I've built for myself.
Love it.
Uh, what I wanted was to be able to have something that was simple that I could use on mobile as well, which we'll talk about in a minute. This lives on ChatGPT sites. It's free. It's included in my monthly pro subscription. I pay $100 and I have numerous websites living on ChatGPT sites right now, and it's glorious. Because previously, to host a website meant going to GoDaddy or Bluehost or someone and giving them money and framing out a site and deciding, do you want, SSL? Do you want this? Do you want that? Lots of decisions, cash. This was none of that. This was, I dummied a thing up and it made it live in one conversation straight into ChatGPT sites. And frankly, it blew my mind because I've hosted a number of websites over the years, and it's a nuisance. You're out money before you ever get started. You got to build. You got to know how to build. You got to, or find somebody who can. But what we did here is I told it what I wanted, and it basically gave me come in here and say, "Don't forget to live stream with Grant."
Oh no, you've already forgot.
Now. And then I've got these tabs here. So if it's a personal task, I can click home. If it's a task for the neuron, I can click neuron, which also is work. If I decide I want to add others, I can just right here type it in, pick a color, any color I want, and go with that.
Nice.
Come up here and I assign a day. So I want that today. Add to my list. You can come down here, you can add images, you can add links and all kinds of other things into them directly where like if you're like, oh, I need to do this thing and here's this document that matters, you can stick it there and not have to keep the stupid tab open, which is wonderful. But then you scroll down and you see my list. Meet the Meatballs is not as weird as it sounds. That's a meeting I have. We jokingly call the Meatballs. So down here,
Could you zoom in a little, if you don't mind?
oh, yeah. Oh, hang on. I can do
Yeah,
that too.
one or two more of those.
I
Yeah.
can do this too. Okay.
Ooh,
Is that better?
beautiful. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, this is good.
So what I did here is the thing about the tags is I wanted to be able to sort them quickly, very quickly. So if I want to see all of my tasks that are related to home, there's only one right now. And there's my entity present. You're welcome. Uh, this is the neuron. I want to
Yay
see
for
all of
taking
my
care of
neuron
mental health.
tasks. One button, click, bam, all my neuron tasks are right there.
Wow.
Work, things that don't have a tag, there are those as well. I wanted it to be simple, and it places them in a smart order, which kind of works. It's not perfect yet. That's got some tweaking to do still. That's the thing, the
Yeah.
common theme you'll see here is there's always something else we're trying to make better
This
that
is
we're
the
like, oh,
way.
that sucks. That could do so much better.
Well, there's all these multi-million and billion-dollar SaaS companies that are constantly shipping updates, which shows you that the work of the software engineer and the product manager is never done.
Exactly.
So,
So
yeah.
here's what to know. Here is this. If I want to go tweak that, I can just click right here on plan. I can add categories, change the due date, anything I want. I can add more items to it. I need to set it to where I can include a link later because it's not set up to do that yet. But when I click it, where are we at? There. This number goes up. So I am
Mm,
motivated by gamification and the ability to beat my friends at things.
I love
Uh,
it.
yeah. And so this is not a thing most task apps have had that I liked. So what I did was set this up to where it'll show me how many I've closed today, how many tasks I've finished this week, how many tasks I've finished this month. And as you can see, this has only been live like 3 days now. So it's not a ton of tasks, but it's going to be ridiculous at some point. Mark my words.
You've got a question in the chat here. Is there
Excellent.
any expectation of privacy with the app? Like, would you be comfortable including personal identifiable information, for
I
example?
would, because what you should know is that ChatGPT sites default to being behind your ChatGPT login.
Mm.
So like it, which is connected to like my Google. So like anywhere I would put my Google in that I'm comfortable giving information with, which is like my doctor, frankly, my bank, or all of those things are tied
Oh,
to my Google. And
yeah.
this is the same thing. It just logs in with my ChatGPT, which is essentially logging in with Google. I expect we'll see login with ChatGPT become a much bigger thing in the future. Uh,
I
big,
know they
big,
were talking about it. I didn't actually realize even that they shipped that yet. So
they're
that's
short
cool.
email. The truth of the
Mm.
matter is I want ChatGPT email. I want email that goes directly to my agents and never comes to me.
Oh,
I
that's an
would love
interesting
to have
concept.
an email that
Uh-huh.
like I could send all of that stuff you sign up for in stores to, and it could be like, hey, there's a good deal today if you want it.
Yeah,
Or I could be like, where can I get free food on Thursday?
yeah.
But the key here is that I made this for me. This isn't an app that's made as a one size fits all tool that goes out on the App Store and does a thing. This was very much catered to my personal needs and a problem I personally had. I keep joking. What I'm doing is patching my vulnerabilities and trying to strengthen the areas where I know I'm weak. Because the truth is, when I am too busy and too distracted and pulled in a lot of directions, what happens is I forget things. That affects my day, that affects my mood, that affects my attitude about everything, and it affects the attitude of the people who can't do what they're trying to do because they're waiting on me to get to them. So the idea here is that hopefully this cuts some of that friction out of the way. And I can always go back and look at my recent wins. Of course, I'm going to build an archive thing because I'd like to be able to go back and know what day did I do that on. I think is a
Yeah.
thing that would be helpful in like doing that, and because I want this to inform my agents of what my normal day looks like. Because at some point, it's going to be doing a whole lot more. Like my goal is eventually to put this in here and it know I better go write that thing or I better go get this. Your job is to
Right.
make me ready. So here's the cool part though. And I don't mean for this to be an infomercial on ChatGPT sites. Is because it's on a website. What you should know is that on your phone, your iPhone, you can go now. Some of these you're going to see here are absolutely normal. Are you going to be able to see this?
Yeah, just get it to the point where it's centered and the glare is lower. So like go a little bit more to the left and then bring it forward and tilt it. Yeah, and then get it even closer.
Whoop.
Even closer. Even closer. Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
now we can
Okay.
see.
So here they are. These are all apps I've built. This one up here, I'll show you in a few. It lives on the actual App Store, the
Maybe tilt it
iOS.
a little bit. Yeah, a little bit
I
more.
I'm tilting it constantly trying to get it there. This is circle
It's
back.
close.
So
Yeah.
what you should know is that it's an icon and you come in here and it looks just like it does on the website, and any changes I make to one are made on the other, and I can just as easily kick out of it and bounce over here into another. But to do that, all you have to do is, let's say, what's a good one? Here's an article I was reading on graph engineering. Uh,
Mm.
what you do, let me see if you could, see if I can get up close enough. You could see up here
Yeah.
where you have the little share thing. Click it. Well, yeah, you're gonna click it, and whoa, this is terrible. I'm so sorry. Click it. Scroll down a little bit, and you're gonna see add to home screen. And
Yeah.
when you do that, it
Perfect.
pops up a way to save any website as a link to your home screen. Uh, the nice thing is these work pretty functionally as apps this way. Like I could fully bundle it and app it. And if it turned out it was a thing maybe other people wanted, I would do that. But for myself, as I'm doing it, it works fantastic. And it's
Okay, so I'm
been
gonna recap what you just said and make sure
okay.
that I understand the process. So
Okay.
you the problem that you had was
Yes.
that you started with, hey, I have a lot of tasks, I have a hard time keeping track of them. Gamification works for me. Let me take this to Codex and build a plan. And then you built the plan, and then you put it together. And then eventually, through the process of iterating and building, you publish it as a ChatGPT site. So you
Yes.
publish it directly inside ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And then that you then pinned to your homepage. So what you
It
did
just
is you
gives you a
created,
URL. Yeah.
yeah.
And you can
So
go
it
open it on
covers
any
the hosting
device.
for you. Yeah.
I have it saved in my like bookmarks at work. It's on my iPhone and it's on my personal computer, and I can just pull it up. You can also just pull it up out of your Chat GPT because if you click on sites, it'll show you every site you have created, and you can do it there. But the whole
So
creation thing, I come back and I go to a stronger model. I should clarify. I didn't get to that. Is that a good spot, Grant?
yeah, yeah. I would just say like what this is a web app. So this isn't
Yes.
an app in the App Store, which you do have some of those. So we'll get to how to do that. But in this case, it's a web application. So that means on mobile or desktop, you can view it. And
Yeah.
now continue.
And I will make this available probably first to next week. It's got to go through the App Store process. If any of you would be interested in using this, let me know. I'll get it packaged up and get it out, and we can get a link in the Neuron or something. Uh, so basically, once I have the idea and I go and I decide I want to build, I take the plan I was given, I take the card that ChatGPT gave me, and I go in and I open. This is where I lean on the good model. Usually, a lot of times I'll let the good model do the planning. So I'll go to like Soul on extra high and let it do the planning for me. But maybe go have Terra High do the actual building, and then I'll go back over to Soul and have it do a code review and a security review before I'm done. Which
Which one did you start with when you had the idea? Were you in
the
ChatGPT or
the
Codex?
the idea I was in Codex mobile controlling my downstairs computer, and I started with Codex, and I went in and had Soul 56 help me with the idea, and then I took that idea, made the card, so I had an idea of what I wanted it to look like and the vibe, and then I took both of those things over and took it to Terra 56 on extra high, and had Terra actually build it. And then once it said, "Hey, here it is, go check it out." Before I even opened it to look at it, I opened Soul and told it do a code review, do a security review, and do a user test. Go through, test every button, test every feature, click everything you see, make sure everything works as it's expected, and consider it from the perspective of like a user. Does this suck? That's kind of the idea. and and by doing that, by the time it was ready to go, I mean it was good, which was surprising. But putting the extra time in to planning, and plan mode in Codex is pretty great. And I think Claude Code has a plan mode, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, of
I mean,
course. Yeah.
as far as I know, they started it.
Yeah, they probably did. And I just don't know. That's fair.
No,
Uh,
but I don't really know. They both have it. Assume at this point that most features they both have their own
that's a
versions
good
of.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if they don't, just wait a week or two
Yeah.
because because they rip one another off quite well and efficiently. Okay. So that one, like I said, lives as a web app. Because I think that's one that might be useful to other people if you're rotted ADHD brains work like mine. And
I mean, is the
now,
URL public? Could people actually go to the URL and sign in
no,
with their
not
own
on this
identity?
one. I mean,
Oh,
it
okay.
could, but they'd have to log in through my account. I'd have to set it up for them to have a code. It
I see.
can be done. I just have not sent an app I built in here through with it yet.
Yeah,
Uh,
let's real quick, let's take a second. So LWN 702 said, if I'm not understanding some of these terms, is there a video you suggest watching to learn more? It's a good question. Corey, do you have an answer to that?
Off the top of my head, maybe our Vibe Coding 101 live stream would be a
Mm,
good one to go back and watch. If not, feel free to shoot us an email. Feel free to ask right here, and we'll slow down and
yeah.
walk through them if there's anything
Yeah.
that'll be helpful.
Anytime
Uh,
there's a term that comes up, let us know and like just say the term and we will explain it.
just whoa, 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 stop,
Yeah.
Corey. What is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And I've
Yeah.
got you.
So
Uh,
I'll do a little bit of explanation here. So everyone is familiar with ChatGPT, right? ChatGPT has a coding agent, which is the equivalent of if you've ever used Lovable or you've ever used AI Studio or Claude Code. Codex is
Vercel,
ChatGPT's
yeah,
version of that. Yeah.
yes,
And what it does is it writes the code for you. And you give it instructions and it'll write the code. And it's available inside the ChatGPT app. So anyone who has a $20 ChatGPT subscription should be able to use Codex at least a little bit.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So
and probably a surprising amount even at the $20 level. Um, and it's you can do an awful lot with not that big a subscription. I use the $100
mhm.
plan. I if the time came where I needed the $200 plan, I would. But I mean, I've done 5 apps this month that, and I still have like 40% left, and I haven't even gotten into the
It's amazing.
resets they give out. I really and all of that has just been careful model use. I make sure that the important tasks, the parts that I want to make sure are right, like planning the engineering, I give that to the heavy model, and then
Yeah.
the the wrench turning I give to Terra, which is a really smart model, but it's also way cheaper and
Yeah, so
faster.
at the $20 level, you can access this.
Oh
Everyone
yeah,
can access this. You might not be able to do everything that Corey said he did in one sitting. You might have to break that up over a couple different sessions, but you could totally do that.
oh yeah.
Um, yeah.
The data on these apps is stored within my chat GPT right now. I just saw this question here.
Hmm.
This one, everything about it is stored directly in chat GPT. With that said, depends on what you're doing and where you are. Because essentially in this instance, ChatGPT is your web host. So it's
Yeah.
just like if you went to GoDaddy and they're your web host, GoDaddy's holding all your stuff. Actually, there's a database behind the scenes that GoDaddy's probably paying for that is holding all your stuff inside the
Yeah.
web. Uh,
Well, and if you don't want to use ChatGPT sites, there are other options that I'll get
yeah,
into more so on my side,
yeah.
and we'll talk about the other options there.
We
So if
might
you
see
want
one
something
I
that's a
have
little
on
more
another yeah, we will see one I have on Vercel and a few too.
cool, awesome, yeah,
Okay, well let's move on from that one because I've got 3 to 4 more I want to run through a little bit quicker because I want to make sure we have time to get through all of mine, all of Grant's, and talk
hmm
you through kind of the idea process. And my hope is not that you'll so much just write down the process and go do it, but that maybe listening to us talk about what inspired us to do these things will inspire you and convince you. You know what? I could do that. These
yeah.
guys are just punks. They did it.
Before you move on from this one, what was the one thing that you struggled the most with this project? Like how did you solve it with this
That's a
one?
good question. Honestly, the thing I struggled the most with was getting the tabs how I wanted them. Trying to
Mm,
explain what I wanted. I didn't, and this is a thing you'll run into when you're vibe coding or learning all of this stuff is that sometimes not knowing the real word for what you want
mm,
can make things harder than it is. For example, you'd
totally.
have called these pills. I want some pill style tabs and tags. And instead, I was like those rectangular rounded ones with the corners, the round corners, and I said stupid stuff. Uh, but that was a little bit of a nuisance, as was making sure it understood what I wanted out of these numbers and the pacing. And it's still missing. I want my lifetime task number. Like, I want to watch a number get real big and make me feel good about myself and my productivity. As corny as that is, but
No,
that was
yeah,
probably
yeah,
the
that makes
biggest.
sense.
And
Yeah.
it took talking with it for a minute, and it gave me back these square blocks. And I was like, no, I don't want square ones. I want round ones. I want them to look like just little pills, and in different colors. And I want to be able to pick whatever color I want, any color in the rainbow. So it gave me the wheel. But overall, it wasn't bad. This was one of the easier. What I will say is that every app got significantly easier. In a few minutes, you'll see the one that was my nightmare. But it's really cool. So we'll talk in a minute. But first, I want to introduce you to the next one. So before I change screens, I'm writing things and I'm trying my best with what we do to be active on social media. I'm not I read a lot of social, but as far as writing on social, I enjoy it. I do a lot of replying and stuff, but I don't. I have ideas, but I'm busy and I don't have time to jump on them immediately. So what I did is I decided I needed an app where I could drop ideas and kind of formulate them in one place and then come back and tinker later. So I built this, and this is Threadline. Threadline is me, essentially. I can come in here, it's got an API connected to it, uh, and I can either link, I can link to an article or a transcript or just throw in some rough notes, maybe an image source. And I just type it in here and I'll say, uh, let's say, that ChatGPT hugging face hack was freaky. I'm doing really simple here for the sake of this. And what it's going to do is it's going to save that, and then it's going to make sure it understands what I want from it. So it goes to point. This phase is it clarifying what I mean, and it comes down here and it pulls out any underlying tension, what's worth preserving here, and what you're really thinking. And the owner is reacting with alarm to a recent Hugging Face demo of ChatGPT like behavior, suggesting it's unsettling or freaky. And that is not at all what I was saying. With alarm to a recent ChatGPT hack of Hugging Face, suggesting it's unsettling or freaky. I'm not going to post this. But so from there, once it says what I want, I go down here to draft. I have X, I have LinkedIn. It can do short X posts. It can do the same with LinkedIn. So we'll come over here and let's say I want a medium length X post on this. Make medium drafts. Now, it's writing this, but what you should know is I went and pulled my entire logs of all of my social media and dumped them into this thing. And then, as a spreadsheet, I fed it into Codex and said, I want you to be able to write like this. So, what it did is it read them all and then it wrote 30 tweets that it thought sounded like me and put them in a spreadsheet where I go through and say yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. And on all of the no's, I leave notes and say why. I would never say that. That sounds like AI. This is stupid. And then I feed it back in and it reads those and it comes back with 30 to 50 more. And I do that over and over and over and over and over until it gets pretty darn good. It's not perfect. The truth is, I would never use anything out of here just sight unseen. But what I have been doing is using it just to hold on to a thought for later on. Because like I read an article and I was like, dang, I got things to say here. And this lets me do it. So like, yeah, the ChatGPT hack of Hugging Face was freaky. I don't have a more sophisticated reaction than that yet. Something about seeing a system like ChatGPT involved in compromising a place as prominent as Hugging Face is deeply unsettling.
This
It's
is
kind of
so
what
good. This is so much better than any of the writing I try to get ChatGPT to do for me.
Also, you should know I'm using Luna, the small one, to write. That is
Yeah, that's a
why,
good tip.
like, 50
Let's
posts
actually define
in,
that
I've
real quick
spent
because
23 cents.
this is a good moment to just quickly tell people. So the new GPT model that just came out. So for folks who don't know, when you're working with AI, you use a version called a model, and there are different ones that are released all the time. I'm sure if you follow our newsletter, you're familiar with this. GPT 5.6 is the new one that just came out, and they released three different versions: Sol, Terra, and Luna. And you can kind of think of them as Luna is the smallest and fastest, Terra is the middle ground, and Sol is the biggest and the most
Yeah.
smart, intelligent, right? Is
And,
that
and cost goes accordingly.
yes? And yeah, so smallest, fastest, cheapest is Luna. middle tier is Terra, most expensive, slowest, and the smartest is Sol. So when
Yeah.
Corey says Sol, Luna, or Terra, that's what he's talking about.
Thank you, Grant. I appreciate you clarifying that. I get excited and talk fast.
No, same,
Uh,
likewise. Yeah.
so here's what happens. So say I like this, and I'm going to say, all right, use this draft. It's not going anywhere. This does not post, to be clear. Uh, but what I then do is it says, give Threadline the version you actually used. So after I've gone through and edited and made changes to, like, I want to add something here, then I hit save final version. And it takes that and that goes into my voice rules. And it runs through the changes I've made to the way it's written. And over time, every time it writes a new post, it runs through that list to see the kind of changes I've made, and should continuously improve to some extent. Hopefully, a whole lot, but we'll see. But again, just like I said with the other app, I've got this right here on my iPhone, and I hate this. Whoop. That's there we go. That's good enough. That's good as I can get it. But I mean, it's right there. Every feature, every function works. Anything you want to do. Uh, Living again in a ChatGPT side app. And this one will get better as it goes. This one isn't one I'm probably going to make available, but we may do something with it later if there's an interest. But it was just to make sure I can hang on to ideas. We read so much news in the day, and I have thoughts. I have things I want to say, and this lets me get back to things and do it later. So it's been helpful. It keeps ideas. It keeps me on track. Helps me remember what I've already talked about and what I haven't. So that is a fun one. Now the next one is my bear, is what you should know. This is the one I'm probably the most proud of, and it's the most work, and it has the farthest to go, all at the
Oh,
same time.
just because I missed it, what was the inciting incident and what was the process for creating this one? Just give me a quick recap of it.
The inciting incident was me trying to remember an article that I had seen earlier in the day and wanted to tweet about, and I couldn't. And I was like, I need to store these somewhere. And then I was like, well, I could do that, but I could also just have it in an app where it'll hang there. And then I was like, I could just have it kind of read it and pre-draft what I think, or I mean, tell it what I think and have it sort of pre-draft something. Where then I go in and I do some cleanup work.
Yeah.
And so far that's okay. I haven't
And did you create it the same way that you created the last one? Like you used
exact
it in
same
plan
method.
mode? Okay, cool.
Plan mode, create the card, and it gave me this nifty little like doorway logo that I like. You can't see it probably.
Oh,
Yeah,
that thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't. It's hard to tell, but that little doorknob logo. I'll find those images too once it's Grant's turn here in a few and share some so you can see what I'm talking about when I
Cool. Yeah.
reference a
Yeah.
card.
And this one is live on sites as well.
This one is live on sites, but not to the public yet. The
Yeah.
next one very
Same
much
deal.
is live in public, and
Cool. Let's
this
do it.
is AI matrix map and how it looks now, which is significantly different from the last time Grant saw it.
Oh yeah, this looks cool. Give people the TLDR. What is this supposed to be?
I'll tell you what this is. Grant and I live neck deep in AI news all day, every single day of the week. You can't keep up with it. There are always new companies, there are always new models, and sometimes it's like, who was that again? Who was that? And I wanted an easy way to see all of the AI companies I could find. So I saw something talking about a matrix map one night, and I was like, that's it. We need an AI matrix map. We can absolutely do this.
Nice.
So I sat down. This was with Vercel. This one started back in December. So it's been a thing in the work, and by in the works I mean like I worked on it a little bit, and then I didn't think about it for 60 days, and then I worked on it a little bit, and then I didn't think about it for 60 days. But this time it's finally looking like something I'm proud of, and the idea being, suppose you want to know. So at its core, think of this as like kind of, for lack of a better phrase, a Zoom info for specifically AI. The idea being anything you need to know about anything related to the AI space. If you want to know, like, who are the frontier labs and what phase are they at? Some of these are still just research. Some of these are way over here in deployment and have things out. Like these are your Anthropics, your Googles, your Metas. Uh, and who's dealing in open weights, which companies have open weight models, and where can we track them. We've got ones that deal in visual stuff. Black Forest Labs, who just dropped Flux 3 today. Grant, you need to get that in the newsletter. It's
Oh,
fully
we
multimodal.
got it. We got it in a round the Horn Digest yesterday.
Oh, good.
But that it was coming. But
Oh,
yeah, I don't know if it made it into the
it's
final
fully
draft.
multimodal. Video, audio, pictures, one model. It's pretty sick. But we'll look at that later too.
By the way, I just
So
shared the link to this website.
yeah,
Anyone can access this
this
one.
is
Corey will explain how he did
yeah,
that, but I
this is
shared the link in the chat so you can look at it.
and currently fully free because I'm looking for feedback and I'm still working on some bugs, which I'll show you as we go through here. Yeah, I've got physical AI, which are your robotics companies and the companies building the engine for them. And you can come through here. This will show you the latest changes that have been made to the website. You can come over here and it'll show you like these are like the newest models. It doesn't show you like every new company that's been added, but it does show you like the biggest news of the month as far as like what's released and changes things. But you can go into those. You can go into the, let's say, who do we want to check out?
It's
Let's
pretty up
check
to
out,
date.
let's check out Thinking Machines. They just dropped a new model last week, right? A couple
Or
weeks
actually,
ago.
what about Moonshot? Because they're the controversial one who created Kitty 3.
All right, let's do Moonshot. Moonshot's going to be over
They were
here.
up at the top if you want to. Oh yeah, they're
Moonshot
there.
AI. And this will show you when you go into their company page, you see their name, you see that they're private. They qualify as a frontier lab in deployment, one of the highest visibility Chinese frontier model companies using Kimi, where they're headquartered when they were founded, a link to their website. This here is going to be very different. It's messy. This is supposed to be pulling in a chart of every known funding round and of any known and reported revenue. So, like for a company like Apple, where they're public, this will be very useful. For companies like this that are very quiet and more closed, it will not be as useful. So, I'm trying to figure out some like a conditional approach to that. Like, if the chart
Yeah.
sucks, don't show the chart, is what I want to say.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
It'll show you related companies, like companies that they're in competition with. Down here, this is some of the other stuff. They're on our daily watch cadence, which we'll talk about in a minute. Their latest move was releasing Kimi K3 on July 16th, 2.8 total trillion parameter model with a 1 million token context window.
Technical terms that you don't need to know right now.
Yes, yes,
But
don't sweat the terms. Yeah, by the way, sorry.
we do
Uh,
explain that type of thing in our newsletter. So if you
it
haven't
shows you,
subscribed, you should.
like where it sits overall in the AI space, as well as recent news about them, and should have it pulls in Neuron articles to go there too. But it wasn't on that one. So you can go through and you can do that. You can also come through here. You can see the changes. If you want to see every company, because we've got 207 companies listed on here right now in 7 different categories, and you can just scroll through the whole list however you like. And the good news is you can also filter heavily.
Yeah,
You can
that's
sort by
key.
category, subcategory. You can sort by types of organization. I want say what you want is a frontier lab that does, or no, it's a bad example. Say you want someone in an agentic coding tool that has a code review element that is a private company and in the growth stage. There are 3 companies. So now what you have here is Augment Code, CodeRabbit, and Codo. And you can then go over here and say, I want to compare those. So you go to the compare screen and you can put in whichever 3 you want. For the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to click these top 3, um, even though they don't really compare anywhere. And you can bring these all up together. There's going to be additional features around this because there's going to be a paid element of this at some point lined out. I don't know for sure what that looks like yet. I have some ideas and like probably it's some more features that would be of interest to like, an investor or a reporter or I don't know, other people like that. I had a list of things in mind the other night, but right now I'm talking too fast and it's all blurry.
Well, let's slow down for a second here because I want to explain. So this is really cool, and as people can see, this is a live link that anyone can join in the
Yep.
chat. So how did you go from your very cool idea, like, "Ooh, we should do an AI matrix map," to, "Hey, you have a website now"?
This is my favorite story. I was at AWS reInvent meeting with Tom. Oh God, Tom. He was on the show.
Tom Okino.
Tom
Yeah, I just
Okino.
shared a link to that. Yeah,
Yes, with
yeah.
Tom Okino from Vercel. And at that
Hmm.
moment, I had, I'd poked around and looked at code in ChatGPT a little bit.
We've
I
built some
had
stuff in AI
some
Studio.
little
Yeah.
scripts. We'd done some things in AI Studio, but I hadn't like taken the plunge.
Right.
And I went back after that conversation. I was so energized after I left Tom, and we talked about what it would do. And he was telling me about how it, this is unlocking things. It's a golden age for idea guys, as Altman has said a couple times as well. And I just loved that because as a guy who's built a couple of small
Yeah.
businesses, the thing that is frustrating and what makes this such a powerful thing, and I want to make sure and say this, is if I had an idea to do this 5 years ago, I've had an idea. I sketch an idea out on a piece of paper or maybe in a doc or something. Then I figure out who do I need involved in this? Do I need a project manager? Do I need an engineer? I need an engineer to even know what I need to ask an engineer for, is the truth in some cases. And you're going to go, you're going to do that. You're going to get on their schedule. You're going to pay them some money to even tell you what you need. Then you're going to go and you're going to try and hire someone. And that's going to take time. It's going to take money. You're going to go through iteration after iteration. And at the end of all of that and all of those thousands of dollars, you'll have a proof of concept. This lets me go to proof of concept in hours without any help, without any money, without any anything. I feel so enabled by the ability to do this because now instead of having an idea, gathering a bunch of people, spending a lot of money, and deciding then, oh, that stinks, now I can come up with a proof of concept myself. I can put it
Yeah.
out and see what people think of it, and if people like it, then I can go find an engineer, then I can go
Yeah.
get help,
That's key.
then I
Like
can put money behind it.
I think the thing is like it's about doing things sustainably, right? Like
Yes.
you still want to work with an engineer, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of have Codex or Claude Code be your CTO for a little while,
Yeah.
but then you do eventually, if it's successful, you want to, if you're making money and you want people, you want to work, we want to work with other people.
Yeah.
So you want to bring in those experts at some point to help manage that part.
Yeah.
But now you don't need the upfront startup capital to go out and hire that someone before you have even validated that it's a good idea.
I can
Um,
wait till it hits. If why would
yes.
I want to spend money building an idea that might suck when what I could do is put out
Yeah.
an idea, and if it does hit, then hell, you can borrow money. If you can say, look, I
Yeah.
got 500 users of this thing already. I need an
Yeah.
engineer and 8 grand. you
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
you
And this
know.
also
So
allows people, which we talk about, and I shared a couple of videos in the chat with Ryan Carson, who was a guy who's taught a million
Ryan,
people how to code the old school way, and we talked to him about this same concept, and this allows like people to be able to create niche applications that maybe might not be a VC level outcome or even less than that, but can, make a sustainable living for, you, the creator, and create a very unique tool that only you, as the unique individual that you are, could think of and be like, I know that there are people who need this who are like me. And so you can create
yeah.
stuff for people like you. And I think that's the greatest use case of this.
Am I the
Sorry,
only person
tangent.
this flavor of weird? Probably not. You know.
Yeah, so like for
Uh,
example, Debbie was talking in the chat and she said, she's creating a club and she wants to create an app for that club. So it's like, yes, please do that. Like that is a great use of these tools, and we'll
yeah,
talk a
that's
little
an
bit more
excellent
about
use
that.
for.
Yeah,
Yeah. Also, if you use this, check it out. I'd love to know your thoughts. There are feedback buttons. There's a way to sign up for updates. There's submit a company or a correction. I've got a form right here. If you know something is wrong, please let me know. Now,
yeah.
here's the cool part that I didn't say about this yet, and I don't want to let this slip. This is entirely managed by agents. I have agents that each day scan all 270 of these, 207 of these companies, gather any updates on their funding, on their news, on their everything, and it lives locally on my computer and pushes updates to the website. I find out what's changed when I go read it just like you would. That's what's wild. Is like it is extremely hands off. If I'm working on it, there's something I don't like, or there's a feature we need to change, or I've caught something. So like I very much I'm seeing it after it's out. And so far, I've trusted it to not make a fool of me. And oh, let's see. Since I started using Codex, I'm running out of tokens like crazy. I never ran into limits. I can't express enough. Make sure you're not just living on like soul high. If you're
Yeah.
living on soul extra high, you will mow through them. If you can kind of decide what tasks need what model a little bit and sort of get comfortable bouncing between those, you could save a lot. That's kind of the approach
Yeah.
I have. I haven't hit a limit this month, and I've put out 5 of these.
It might also be worth it, Amber, to potentially upgrade to the $100 tier, like Corey is on, because
Yeah,
it does just give you that much more access. But there are ways that you can like use Soul, which is the highest one, as an orchestrator.
yeah,
And basically the way that you set this up is you have it update its agent.md, I think, or just tell it to update its memory so that it farms out the work to Luna or Terra, depending on how complicated the task is. And you could literally
yeah.
say that. Say like, hey, whenever you have to actually go and write something, farm it out to a sub agent to go do it. And just use Terra for the more complex stuff. Use Luna for the easier stuff.
100%.
And I've been doing that with Fable, and it works great. And Fable's the Claude Code one. To answer Debbie's question, have you discussed how to create agents? I would actually love, Corey, for you to address how you created agents here, because you used a tool called Vercel,
Yes.
or V0 specifically.
Well,
And you're
Vercel's not who manages it. Vercel just
okay.
hosts it,
Tell
man.
us.
I
Yeah,
used
yeah. So
Vercel to
tell us.
build it. I used Vercel to build it originally. It so I actually Claude gave me the plan. I don't remember which Claude, which version, but because it was December,
Did you
so
use Vercel specifically, or V0, or does it
I
matter?
used V0 to build it,
Okay. Link to that.
and publish it on Vercel, which is Vercel is the parent company, owns a big hosting corporation. V0 is a tool released by Vercel. So I used their building tool, which is a really good place. If you're a beginner, there's not a better place to start, in my opinion. And so it's hosted on there. But then I had it go to GitHub, and I now have it managed entirely by Codex.
Okay, let's talk through
So
that.
in
Yeah, because that's
Codex,
great.
it was just like I was like, hey, I want to manage this one on Codex instead of V0, and it just goes and does it. I literally just told it that, and made sure my GitHub was connected, and I'm
Could you explain
still
GitHub for people who don't know
yeah.
it? Yeah.
GitHub is GitHub is a tool used by developers that controls versioning, releasing, and it allows you to stack changes in ways that are very reversible, very visible, and makes it an easy way for other developers to come in and help you with that tool, or an easy way for you to port it elsewhere. But ideally, it's your code archive in the cloud is the idea, and it. Watch a quick GitHub primer. Maybe we'll record one in the next couple of weeks, just to help to have one. We
Yeah,
do
we
have a how to create agents video or live stream that we could share here in the chat too.
I
Uh,
will do that. But I want to know how you set up these ones. Was it just through Codex?
Yeah,
Is that
just
how it's set
Codex
up?
chatting with it. Yeah, I was just like, hey, I want this to be checked every day. I want this to be run through a Notion database. I want this to be, I want it to do this. I want you to check each of them. I want you to update them there. I want a report on how it's done on every change that's been made, emailed to me, and I just tell it, and it's set up its own agents to do it. And it's like, when do you want them to run? So I told it I want them to run, every day at 5 a.m. and again at 4 p.m. I want you to check every site that is in the list. Make sure any verified updates get pushed to production, and tell me when it's finished and what's been made. So it
Awesome.
was very easy. I mean, this was absolutely no, like, I'm not grabbing nodes and finding triggers, Grant. This was just, and we
Yeah.
talked about
You
this
just
in our
tell it.
prediction episode at the beginning of this year, that really, really soon building agents is going to be like, hey, I want you to do this thing for me every day at 3, go. And it's
Yeah.
already connected to all of my tools, so it knows. And that's very much how we're operating now. With that said, I have 10 minutes and 2 apps, and I'm going to get through both of these before we shift gears here, because
Yeah.
one of these is really cool and one of these is very special to me. Uh,
Could you just clarify really quick? So V0 or Vercel is still hosting the app. So that's how it's
Vercel
live
still
and
hosts
everyone
it.
can.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Codex
Yeah.
is communicating with GitHub, and GitHub, like, here's the deal: GitHub can publish direct to Vercel. So Codex updates GitHub, GitHub updates Vercel.
Got it.
Does that make sense? Think of it like
Yes, it
kind of
does.
a, yeah, like a
And
spoke.
Amber brought up something in the chat, and you're welcome to like start pulling up the next thing you want to pull up.
Okay.
But she mentioned, have you used GitHub with Google AI Studio? Actually, yes. And I don't know if Corey has done this process, but one of the apps I'm going to show you started an AI Studio, connected it to GitHub, and then I took it onto my computer and started working on it with Claude Code. So
Nice.
I recommend that. That's a really great way to start for free,
Yeah.
building an application. Yeah.
Excellent. That is a good way. And I like Google AI Studio. That we had a lot of fun in there,
Yeah.
doing all kinds of goofy stuff. Cat Doom.
Yeah. Cat Doom.
One of these days, we're going to have a releasable version of Cat Doom that we can share with
Oh,
all of
it's
you.
actually criminal that I haven't made one yet, and
It
I
really is,
apologize.
Grant. What are you doing with your life? I'm sorry.
I'll show you later, I guess.
You'll see in a minute.
Yeah.
All right, this is on deck. What you should know is that every day of my life, and I hope some of you can relate to this, I get off work and I don't know what's for dinner. My wife doesn't know what's for dinner. We go downstairs and I'm like, hey, what would you like for dinner? And she goes, I don't know. What would you like? And then I say, I'd like pizza. And she'd go, I don't want that. Maybe I want this. And I'll say, I don't want that. And it's this tension thing at the end of every single workday that drives me crazy. And what it results in is me at Dairy Queen picking up ooey gooey cheeseburgers and and coming home and eating garbage, and her doing the same. And it's not ideal. It's not cheap. It's unhealthy. So we've been working on ways to fix that. So here's what I did. I spent an hour and a half last Saturday talking to ChatGPT voice mode about my diet, about various conditions that I have managed for myself, about what I do and don't like to eat. I'm a picky eater, and I talked about the things I will and things I just do not care to like, and I don't want to try them. But and also the fact that if I want it, I want to start trying though. I want to try more things. I want to expand my horizons. I want to always know what's for dinner. I want to have grocery lists pre-prepared for me for the week so I know what to go buy and what to have at the house. And I really just wanted a good way to solve that. So what it did is it took all of that information, put it into a giant context dump that I'm still updating by the day. As I'm like, oh yeah, we make those. I go and I add them to my
This was
list.
something you told Codex, like you like voice
Yeah.
dumped into it, or you chatted
This
it.
was no, this was ChatGPT voice mode. The new voice mode's ridiculous,
Oh, okay.
and it was a two way.
Yes.
So it was like a two-way conversation about, well, how do you feel about this? What do you like? So it was like it was focusing on nutrition. It was focusing on the fact that my wife and I work constantly and we're tired. And the biggest blocker between us and cooking dinner is not money. It's not a desire to do it. It's that we're tired and we just want to sit down. So I was like, prioritize fast but healthy. Prioritize, affordable. If there are good leftover opportunities, I want those factored in, which is the first thing it did here. So uh, I picked up a couple pounds of pulled pork the other day, and it's like, you're going to have these for lunch, pulled pork sandwiches for 2 days because they're leftovers. And then it wants to know, it wants to follow up. So I can change it here. I can change it to all of these other things that might fit the bill for that. You can't see it. Oh, shoot. It's got a drop down with a bunch of other meals that I like that pop up when I hit here. And I can go
You can
and
share your full
so
window.
I
You
could
can
change
show it.
it to like oven fried pork chops. I could change it to grilled burgers and potatoes. It also recommends sides on dinner at least, and I could say made it, ate out, or skipped. So it wants to know, and at the end of the week, it's going to give me a report on how many meals I actually ate versus how many times I opted for something crappy. I told it to assume I'm going to eat out 3 meals in a week. So it came down here for, whoa, dinner's now pulled pork. That wasn't the case. Uh, but we can also, if we're like, you know what, none of these sound good, it's got a call an audible button. So anytime we don't agree on dinner, I hit this button and it's like, boom, the best fit feeds 4 in 12 minutes. Deerberg smoked chicken. The fastest pulled pork sandwich is 10 minutes. Chipotle chicken and rice bowl if we want to go out and it's easy. And then you click bam and it'll throw it in here as to what it is and everything. This one's not perfect. It's got a ways to go, but it's getting there. So the cool thing is you can also review your groceries. It'll give you a proposed grocery list for the week. You can go through and mark have it or need it. Like, oh, I already got those. I don't need that. I don't need that. And then it reconciles it all together for you nice and neat and lets you print a simple. Oh, it's not going to show you this either. Dang it. Gives you a simple printable grocery list that you can spit out and just walk into the store with.
Quick question about this. So, is this an app? Is this a web ChatGPT sites? What is this?
This is one that is this is ChatGPT sites right now, but it is going to the App Store
Yay! Very cool.
with some, a couple of premium features as an option, but not a have to. You could absolutely do most of it without it, but if you want like anything that requires AI, that means I have to pay for the AI. There's going to be a thing attached. So,
Yeah,
uh,
gotta charge for it. Yeah.
but otherwise, these are mostly free and just kind of seeing what people like, what I can do that might help people. But one last one in my last 4 minutes, okay? Those
You
of
could
you
go. You could go. You don't have to honor the hour. You could go over.
Well, I want to be respectful of your time to show off your neat toys too, because yours are badass.
I might need a little more time, so that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. So I bought this new espresso machine. If you watch these weekly, you know this has been an ongoing thing. I drink an absurd amount of lattes. I go out twice a day for my wife and I. We both get one, and we've done this for years. We've spent a shameful amount of money, like just absolutely shameful. So I'm trying. No, I'm not connecting with a software engineer. I'm just having Codex do it. I signed up as a developer on Apple, and Codex can do the whole thing, which is really sick. Uh, and a piece of paper says I'm a developer, whether I am or not.
Yeah, we should take a little time to walk through that after
I
are
will.
you gonna show this one
Honestly,
or
that could
yeah?
be a whole thing. Like how to go from Codex to the App Store, Claude Code to the App Store could be a live 1 week
We
because
will.
that's a little bit more of a process.
Let's cover it at a high level. I think I have some notes on it. If you don't
Okay.
want to, I can talk
Can
about
I
it a
can I
bit.
finish
But
the story I'm on real quick though?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Uh, we've tried and tried and tried to make it at home. We've bought an espresso maker. We've bought coffee makers. We've bought iced coffee. We've bought all these things trying to get to where we can not go to the coffee shop twice a day. But the truth of the matter is, I want my coffee, and that is that. So, what I finally decided to break this habit that's costing us so much money. Uh, it's going to have to be better than what we drink out. It's going to have to not just be good enough. It needs to be the right choice because it's what we want. And we did the math and tallied up just how much we spend on coffee in a month. And then we took that amount of money and went and bought a nice espresso maker and started making espresso at home. So I wanted to be able to track how quick we could pay off our uh, espresso machine. It's kind of absurdly quick, like tomorrow. But so what I did is I wanted to track the amount of money I was saving. Is what it really. I wanted to know. Here's what I spent per coffee. Here's what a cup of coffee costs me at home to make. And every time I have a coffee, I want to hit a button. So I made an app called. This is the worst. Bean Counter. What Bean Counter does is it tracks the number of coffees I didn't buy, which is right now at 100. Dang it. At 100.
That's good. That's good. Leave it there. Yeah. I'm
Okay.
just trying to
The
work
problem is I
from
can't
your.
read it from behind the phone.
Well, you can talk us through. You built it. You know the
Yeah.
product. You can talk us through.
All right. So, now I can read. Okay. So, yeah, 100 coffees you didn't
Beautiful.
buy, 10-day streak, which is actually more like a 24-day streak now.
Hmm.
Shows that including tax and tip, our lattes were 7.50 each. Cost to make them at home is 175. So anytime I have a coffee, I just pop this open. It sends me reminders too, but I just pop this open, hit
Yeah.
log coffee, and it just updates live right there. Then you
Perfect.
go down here, and what you're going to see is the amount of money that I haven't spent at a coffee shop. You're going to see the amount I have spent paying for coffee supplies in the meantime, which is my at home cost. And then you're going to see my net savings, which is kind of absurd. And then you come over here, and I had it amortize my espresso machine payoff. So, like, I put the full amount in, and every time I hit anything, this number goes down. You'll see it's at 98% today. So either tonight's coffee or tomorrow morning's is going to officially We will have saved more money than the espresso maker cost.
Wow, that is awesome. Good
You also
job,
have
Corey.
achievements. Uh,
Yeah.
oops. I set it up to make achievements because, again, I'm a gamified sucker. So
Yep.
like there's like, you saved $100, you saved $500, you bought 100 coffees, you didn't buy 100 coffees. And there's a bunch of those there that are various little, you can click on them and theoretically here, saved photos. Yeah, and it'll save it down to your phone for you so you can share it on social. Uh and this has been such a fun little app. So you got settings, you can go in and you can change. Whoops, let's get it here one more time. Sorry for blinding everyone. So you can change
Yeah.
what your coffee costs here. You can change what your coffee. Let's see.
Maybe move the finger. Yeah. How you had it before, and then tilt it up.
There we go. Okay. I think up is bad. There we go. There we go. Okay, so you can change that. You can go down and change your goals. You don't have to save for your machine. You can also set reminders a day. So, like, it dings me at 7 a.m. to say, hey, you didn't log any coffee this morning. I'll bet you ate coffee. Let's get you to that goal, Corey. And that's just being corny. But you can also import and export your data. The thing to know about this is right now, this is actually on the Apple App Store, iOS App Store now. Anybody that wants it can download it. I have a similar version coming out for fast food probably by first of the week. It's sort of in the waiting process that you go through with Apple. Uh, that's designed to help you quit going out to eat at night in exchange for some cool savings goal you've set. So there's a lot to do still, but this is very much made to motivate the unmotivated. And
So,
my hope is it
can
helps
you
someone else.
can you pull up the App Store link? Like if you just search like bean counter,
I sure
and
can.
grab it.
And let me guess, that's going to be the one and
Okay.
only one I did not. Yeah, of course it's the one and only one I did
Yeah, I
not
didn't
pull
pull
up and
that
get ready.
one.
1 second.
But Amber was asking this earlier in the chat, and I do want to talk through this at a high level. So let's say you're like Corey, and you have an idea for a mobile app, and you want to create one. How do you actually get it into the App Store? Well, you have to join this thing called the Apple Developer Program, and I believe it costs $99, right, Corey? Something like that.
$99.
Yeah. So basically, once you join the Apple Developer Program, you can actually submit the app to the App Store for Apple to review. And the way that that works is kind of at a high level. Is you create the app record in this thing called App Store Connect. You then build a version of it in this an Apple's tool called Xcode, and then you upload the build to Xcode, and you use this tool called Test Flight to help you test it out on your phone.
Yep.
And that sounds like a lot of things, but if you literally say, "Hey Codex or Claude Code, I want to join the Apple Developer Program and submit an app to the App Store," it will walk you through the steps to do that. And just ask for a step by step. Say like, "Hey, I would like a step by step guide to submitting an app to the App Store," and it will totally walk you through that. And if at any point you get confused, just say, "Hey, go to the website, search the latest docs of the process of how to do this,
Yep.
and give me the most up to date information on what field I have to click where." If you get confused, just take screenshots. So take a screenshot of the website and be like, "I don't know what to click here." And then it will tell you, "Oh, click this button and click this drop down," et cetera, et cetera. And look,
Yeah.
Corey did it. Corey has an app. This is an actual app in the App Store.
Oh, and I
Corey,
need
you've
you to
never.
share it, Grant.
Oh yeah, no, I saw it. It showed up.
Yeah, but it only showed up in Riverside. It didn't go through to YouTube.
No, no, it did. It did.
It did? Oh,
Yeah, I see it
it
on
always
YouTube.
says that
Yeah.
when I'm in here. Sorry.
No, no, no. You're good. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, no. I was just gonna ask you. Like, you did not know how to make an app before you made this app, right?
Absolutely not. No
Okay.
way, shape, or form. Like
Yeah.
as recent as 3 years ago, I got ripped off for $7,000 trying to get someone else to just help me understand the process I needed to build one. not for me, but to have an engineer go build it. And so this was a big moment for me. It's not perfect. Are there things an engineer would do different? Absolutely, there are. However, I took the best efforts I could to make sure it's been through a couple of good code reviews through two different methods. It's been through a security review and patched everything it found, and it's connected through CloudKit, which is essentially just your Apple account. So anything you do is saved to the files you already have. I get none of your data. You get none of mine. And it's clean. It's easy. There are no ads. There may be something at some point. I don't know what. Maybe I don't know if it's a pro mode or something. And it may be that I'm the only person on earth who had the bizarre desire to traffic it. But, is what it is.
Yeah. No,
So my hope
it's
is
great.
that somebody finds it fun and enjoys it. And in the meantime, I'm drinking the best coffee I've drank in my life. I really am. I am now like, here's the great thing. I was spending so much drinking out, Grant, that I'm now buying like snobby coffee off the internet from cities and stuff, and having it
Yeah.
shipped to me, and drinking like the best beans in San Francisco or Portland and all of this stuff. And I'm doing it for like 10 cents on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar for what I was the other way.
Yeah. No, this is awesome. And it's so cool that you're able to do this. One thing I want to flag, I don't think you said it. You actually asked Codex to just submit the screenshots for you, right? Like you didn't even have to
Codex,
take those
I didn't
screenshots.
ask it, is what you should know. Codex opened up the iPhone simulator in Xcode and took its own screenshots. All of these, Codex did every bit of that. I mean, it wrote all the copy, it prepared everything, it did the whole upload. I mean, like, I very much went in and had to go through it certain steps and work with it. Like, it wasn't just a go. It did a really good job of coming back and being like, now this is a legal disclaimer, Corey. You should go be the one to read this and make sure you agree.
Yeah.
Here's my recommendation
Cloud
based
Code
on
does
what
this
I've
too.
seen. So it'd give
Yeah.
me a recommendation and tell me go check it out.
Yeah.
And I really appreciated that because it stops me from doing something stupid I don't even know I've done.
Okay. Hot question. I don't know if you have an answer to this. What's the process for the Play Store? Have you submitted to the Play Store?
No idea. It's on my list. If you can hang on for a month or so, I will figure out and navigate that, and we'll do honestly, at some point, I think it would be fun in what we're doing, and as much as people are playing with this stuff, I think it'd be a good idea for us to have a how to navigate the App Store
Yeah.
and how to navigate the Play Store kind of video
Let's do
anyway.
that. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, that's next on our roadmap, I think, to do that.
yeah, maybe not next on our roadmap. I need to learn to use the other one first. Uh, unless you've done the Play Store, I haven't though. I guess I also need to go acquire an Android phone because I'm going to need to test it.
You can do it with simulators,
Pro tip:
which
you
is
have to own a Mac to submit an app to the App Store.
this is a good point, John, Amber, for folks who are literally trying to submit an app. Listen to this.
And here's my advice: if you don't want to pay the Apple tax, I asked Codex, and Codex said what I would do is I would go get an M1 that's got, at least 3 or 4 OS updates left in it before it's going to be irrelevant. Get the hottest RAM you can get the hottest stuff, and I spent $400 and got an Apple M1 from 2020, and it's like 16 gig of RAM, but it guaranteed it would run the version of Xcode I need, and that it's several up the list from what's being deprecated over the years. So, you know, uh, for what a good Mac laptop costs, the truth is it was the right deal for me because I have a ton of computers. I can't justify buying a brand new Mac right now. So,
Yeah.
but used ones can be had and can be had right. You've got to make sure it's an M1 to be able to run Tahoe. If it can't run Tahoe or newer, you won't be able to submit to the App Store. Ooh,
Okay.
big truck from Olympia Coffee Roast. I'm looking. I got it on my list. I ordered in Stumptown Founders. I ordered Verve out of Santa Cruz. I've got a couple of local St. Louis breweries that I'm trying. Sump Coffee and String Bean Coffee Company is a good one. I really like what they make. So yeah, we're just trying everything. Like we've never done that. Going to a coffee shop, we're probably getting the cheapest thing they can buy in 50-pound bags anyway. So it's been a major step up.
All right, I'm gonna pull up my computer here. Now,
Big truck from
if
Harvey.
if going all the way through the App Store is very intimidating for you, here's what we recommend. We actually recommend you don't start with trying to make a full end-to-end mobile app, right? Actually, what you should probably start with is something really simple. And one of the things that I started with, and Corey has an example of this, I'm going to ask him to share while I pull up my screen, is a Chrome extension. Now, if you use a different browser other than
Oh,
Chrome, this might not be applicable. But I'm sure other browsers have extension tools as well. But when you use Google Chrome to view the web, you are able to add extensions that help you access the web when you are sorry to help you run little like side projects on your web browser. And Corey, if you could take it away while I pull my screen up, this would be great. But you
one
could go ahead
moment
and
here.
you
I'm going to
share
share.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what happened is it won't show the extension. I got to share the whole screen. I think entire screen. Let's gonna go this one. Go over here. Blow that up.
Yeah.
Share. All right. And what you'll see here is like this is one called Tab Crusher. I don't know if you, like me, leave way too many tabs open in Chrome all day and it eats your RAM to death. I gamified crushing tabs. And this guy, I
Love
don't
it.
know if you could tell, but he looks like a tab, but he's really a monster. Um, this tracks my lifetime tabs crushed and the lifetime amount of RAM saved. It's based on assuming 120 megabytes of RAM per tab. Uh, it's ideally catching duplicates, but I finally added in the ability to collect old tabs, like tabs you've had open for a week and haven't 3 days and haven't touched, as well as all tabs. And I go through here and I just click away and close all kinds of them. It comes with some various milestone achievements mixed in, like crush sessions. So I'm two away from crushing 50 times, as well as 50 gigabytes saved. So it's pretty easy. It's pretty simple. Runs light, and yeah, I did that one. That's on the App Store, which I'll share a link to in a minute. It's in our Run a Show doc. And this one here, which was uh, quote gobbler. I just needed a way. I've always got things I leave open because I'm like, I want to go back to that later. And there's something that
Mhm.
caught my eye. So I can select a piece of text on any page, go up here and hit gobble. And it gobbles it just like this.
I love your creativity, man. It's so funny.
I also have for trash, it says spit it out, spit it in the trash.
Amazing.
You
And then
can
what
save
is
it as
this little
markdown.
character?
You can
What
open the
is this little
thing and it,
character
oh, he's the little
in the bottom
monster.
right corner? Yeah, it's so
He's
cool.
he's the he's the gobbler, Grant. Hang on.
Did Codex make that?
Codex made the
Did he?
character and everything.
Wow, that's
Uh,
cool.
it's pretty ridiculous. Local first, nothing leaves Chrome. So this lives only in this. This is publicly available and lives only in your personal Chrome extension. No data goes to me. No data goes anywhere else. It just lives in your Chrome with where your web history already is anyway.
By the
But
way,
the
I highly
idea,
recommend if you use Chrome extensions like that other people have made and you don't trust the developer, you should just recreate it and then you control it. You're not giving your data to some random dude. Like
yeah,
you should definitely recreate Chrome extensions you use, in my opinion.
and you can I got a little bite out of the quote mark. I got you can pack your leftovers. You can spit it out, and you got your little monster. There's no reason. There's no reason helpful tools can't be fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So why do I recommend this? I recommend this because it was the first way that I actually built anything with software engineering. So the very first thing that I built using ChatGPT back in like 2022, 2023, right? So
Back
we're
in the
talking
day.
like this thing couldn't even format JSON correctly at
Yeah.
this point, right? And I was trying to make a Chrome extension for a problem that I have a lot, which is I have a word and I want a different word and I want to just be able to like very quickly skim through a bunch of them. I don't want to open up a thesaurus. I just want to skim through a bunch of synonyms, right? That's fine. It's not up yet.
Okay.
And so I wanted to create an application to do that. And so I had ChatGPT help me literally write the code. And at this point, it is so easy. Like, and back in the day, I had to like open up VS Code, which this is too much detail, but I had to open up a code editor. I had to make all the files. I had to put the code in the files. If there was an error, I had to send it back to ChatGPT. Now you can just literally go to Codex, or sorry, you can go to ChatGPT or Claude Cowork, and you can say, "Hey, make me a Chrome extension that does X, Y, Z," and it will package it up for you. And the only thing you have to do um, is go to the little puzzle piece for extensions and go to manage extensions, turn on developer mode if you don't have that on, which is the little toggle in the top right hand corner, and then you can actually just upload it. And it's the easiest way to create useful software, and it's a really good starter project if you want to start with that. Um,
Excellent. This is exciting. Are you ready, Grant?
I think I am. I'm just gonna do one more thing over here, and then I can pull my stuff up. Um, do you want to kind of like to give a wrap up of your advice for how to get started?
Yeah. You know, my advice to get started is learn to think a little different. When you have an idea that annoys you, instead of or a thing that you want or you need, instead of thinking, I can go buy that, ask yourself if you could do it yourself. Um, and and even if it sounds ridiculous, go ask anyway. I can't stress the number of times I've had ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini tackle something I was reasonably sure it wouldn't do worth a crap, and it do a fantastic job. Lots of times, quite good. Um, but you know, you can absolutely do it any way you want. Think outside the box. Think about what would I want in it if I did this myself? Well, how would I want it to work? What would I want it to look like? How would I want it to function? What things would I need it to do? Do I want it to be able to save to my phone? Do I want it to be able to sync to Slack? Do I want it to be able to, you know, dance the Macarena? It can do whatever you want. You just have to, think as much as you can up front about what you want. Go plan. And you'd be amazed at the end of a single planning session in 10 minutes, you'll be amazed at where you're at and what you have. And I can't stress enough, this isn't what I went to school for. This is very much a thing I've just learned via doing this. Like I regularly take my code, and I can't recommend this enough, by the way. Take your code in your app, go into ChatGPT and ask it, or just ask Codex directly or Claude Code. Hey, how does this work? How is this built? Show me the code and what I'm seeing, and show me what in here you did, what you did, and why you did. Explain the decisions you made, any logic, because it's important you understand how your code works, even if you could not go create work code. Uh, I think understanding, your dependencies and that, there's things like troubleshooting problems. Even if the truth is Codex is going to troubleshoot your problems pretty well anyhow. um, but yeah, just give it a try. This is the best thing I can say is, rip off the band-aid and do the thing. You can do it. If I can do it, Grant can do it. You can do it too. I'm confident. If you're here and care that much enough to be listening to this conversation, you're
Yeah.
fine. You got this. And hit us up. If you have questions, comments, you can always reach us on Twitter. You can reach us on LinkedIn sometimes as well. Email. If we get questions, we do our best to answer all of them.
Okay, that was a great. I think that was perfect. Shout out in the chat if anyone has any questions so far. I know we've been trying to answer them as we go. We're gonna go ahead and
I
go
think we're
into.
I think we're current.
Okay.
The neuron is required reading for my Foundations of Gen AI course. Aw, I love that, Amber. And El Valverde, I am absolutely going to order a bag of this coffee. It sounds great. I've got it up in a window already. And chocolate caramel and berries is my jam. I like mediums to darks, and I like the savory stuff. I'm not too into this one tastes like plums. That's not a thing I'm interested in. But
Okay. That's
All right,
funny.
off to Grant.
Uh,
I'm gonna pass it over.
all right, let me just rip the band-aid off and just start doing this.
You got it.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what I want to share first because I have some desktop apps. Um,
Whatever you are comfortable with,
close.
my friend.
Okay. Could you take my screen down for a minute? Let me
Yep.
hit the share button, get it queued up, and then you can pull it up. All right, perfect.
I was hoping I kicked the right Grant.
It's funny. Actually, I'm competing with Claude, who's controlling my screen right now. Which that's a whole other can of worms we don't really want to get into. Okay. There we go. Let's shut that off for the moment. All right. So, entire screen, share. Let's go ahead and pull up my two things. Okay. I'm ready when you are, Corey.
All right. Do I need to let you back in?
Yes, if you just pull it up, it should be showing.
It is not showing.
Hang on, then.
This is peculiar.
It kicked me out.
Ah,
I think maybe because Claude was taking over my computer, which can happen. So, okay.
Oh.
Waiting for you to let me in.
There you go. You're in.
All right. Okay, so for folks who don't know, what I have here is I have a website that I created. And this is a personal website for all my different projects. I just finally got up the guts to actually post this recently. And
I love it.
so, it's pretty basic. And the way that I got here, I'm actually going to give you a tour of my building with apps, my journey, and I'll kind of share the process. So down at the bottom here, or once you scroll down, essentially, I have a couple of projects that I've been working on lately, and I can walk through these because these are essentially the ones that how I kind of started, though they're not in order. So one of the first things that I did, as I mentioned, is I first started by trying to build a simple Chrome extension. And somebody asked in the chat, how did you make the Chrome extension? Well, basically, the process back in the day was very complicated. Today, it's literally, you just ask like, hey, make me a Chrome extension for this. and you have to do this process where I can walk through very quickly. In the little puzzle piece in the corner here, you click this puzzle on Chrome, and then you go to manage extensions. And once you're there, you toggle on this thing called developer mode. And then there's a button that says load unpacked. So once Codex gives you a Chrome extension that you've created, you just click load unpacked and you load it up to your bar. And then you can pin it. And that's with this little pin button. So under the manage extensions, you can basically go there and pin the thing that you've created, and then you can always access it. So I have two that I use personally where I can just copy, the open tabs that I have as Markdown so I can send them to an agent that the agent can review, et cetera, et cetera. So I first created a Chrome extension, which was great. But then I wanted to work with AI as AI got more sophisticated to actually work with an application on my computer. And so that's when I worked with a Godot MCP server that somebody had created. And basically for people who don't know, Godot is a video game tool. You can
like a creation tool, right? For video
exactly. Games? You can create your own video games. And so I created this Godot MCP to essentially, what I did is I actually copied someone else's Godot MCP that they created, and I started playing with that first. And then I realized I was like, hey, wait a minute, this can't actually do what I want it to do. I wanted to write the actual like scripts that I like to make the code work. I wanted it to be able to edit and play around with the actual Godot MCP itself. So what I did is I copied the GitHub that was open. I then added stuff to it, and then I made my own what's called a fork of it. So the first project I created is a Chrome extension. Then the second thing I did is I actually made a personal clone of another piece of software that someone else created as open source. And so that was the original process. So number one, I made a very simple thing. Number two, I then cloned somebody else's thing and then added scripts onto it, which I think is another good process that people can adapt. Like essentially, hey, I have this thing that I like. It's open source. Let me play around with adding features to it to get comfortable building with AI. Then that brings us to a little tool called AI Studio. And
I love your background, Grant. That's sick.
it's just like some generic thing.
So cool.
And AI Studio was the first like true, I guess like builder studio that I found was really effective. So somebody in the chat mentioned Lovable. Some people in the chat mentioned, we talked about V0, which is great. But AI Studio is great because it's from Google. It's where you can test building with all of their free, or not their free, their models that they provide. But it's a free service where you can prototype essentially anything that you want. And if you've seen some of our live streams before, we had Logan Kilpatrick on. We prototype type stuff live, and these are just some examples of things that other people have built on here. But the way that I approached it is I was like, okay, I want to build my own thing. And so there's a lot of stuff on here.
There
Like
it
this
is.
piece of junk that doesn't work.
Yeah.
The first thing. But essentially what I did is I would come in here and I would make example scripts. So let's see, Gemini Pros, that's a good one. I would make example apps, for things that I wish existed. And I was like, let me see if Gemini can do it. And the reason I recommend starting with AI Studio is if you're building anything that involves AI agents on the back end or calling what's called APIs. And
Yeah. Makes
Google
that really
actually
simple.
sets all that stuff up for you. It's like so automatic. So
Yeah, particularly if it's APIs in the Google system. Like if you need Gmail or you need YouTube or Google search, that stuff's very,
yeah,
very just interlocked already.
yeah. I guess it's migrating me over to something, but
Well, it's
let me pick a
changed.
different one.
Uh,
It's changed a bit. As you can see, it's been a minute like since I really was using this to
yeah.
prototype. March 13th was like the last thing that I worked on.
Was that last year?
No, 2026.
Oh, I thought it
So
said
March of this
25. I
year.
was like, oh, wow, it has been a minute.
Okay, this one's not as good as the other one, but one of the first problems that I had is I was like, gosh, I hate writing with AI inside these tools. It's very terrible. So I was like, how do I create an experience that actually works? So I said, write me a story about Google Gemini. And essentially what I did is I created a sidebar here with so that I could have a chat with an agent inside a document where I can edit stuff. And then here I said, all right, what if I want to change this and I want to change this to expand on this. So what's happening is Google AI Studio has set it up so that the application that I built works automatically with Google agents. And what's great about this is that I don't have to try and figure out how to connect to those Google agents myself. It just automatically does it on the back end. So I can give on the left-hand side over here, I can give AI Studio feedback on what I would like it to change. And then on the right-hand side here, I can test the application that I actually built. And the reason why I'm sharing all this with you is because number one, AI Studio is a great prototyping tool. Number two, it was a way for me to quickly validate whether or not what I wanted to do could actually work. And I wanted to make it a very seamless writing experience with agents. I wanted to be able to make inline edits, and I wanted to be able to hyperlink and do all this stuff that agent tools are a little bit better at now, but before they weren't perfect. So this is great. When you have something in AI Studio, like how do you actually publish this, right? How do you actually get this to the point where other people can use it? So someone says, if you try out your idea on AI Studio, is it protected or is it public? AI Studio, this is a good question. I forget the exact rules with it now, but they do train on the ideas that you put in here. And you might be able to turn off settings to do that. So if you're worried about like, hey, this is a great idea and I don't want Google to steal it, for
Yeah.
example, you might want to start in a different tool. This is more for like, does this idea I have even work? Like, can I even create a simple version of this that is like safe to use? Good for mockups, good for things of that nature. If you want to create something that's more protected, make sure that you're on the ChatGPT or Claude business account. Make sure you have a business agreement with them, and make sure that you turn off. You're not going to share your information with others. And we talk about that a little bit more in depth in some of our other streams, but that's a good rule of thumb. I would start with ChatGPT for that one,
Yeah.
or Claude,
Yeah.
depending on what your preference is. So, okay, in my case, I wasn't worried about copyright or anything like that. So I did it in AI Studio. And in this case, I went to settings and GitHub. And the very first thing I did is I connected this, or the current version, not this one, to my GitHub account. And as Corey talked about earlier, GitHub is basically just like Google Drive for code. Simplest way to explain it. It saves all of your code on the cloud so that you can write your code, version it, keep track of what changes you made. You can always go back to previous changes, and you set the visibility to private, and you keep your repo. You name the repo, which is the place that you save your code, and then all of a sudden now, anytime you can, or any tool that you connect GitHub to, you can then work with the same code. So you can start an AI Studio, you don't have to stay there. And you're not meant to stay there. It's more of a prototyping tool.
Yeah.
Now you can take this to Claude Code, to Codex,
Or
to
deploy it
Google's.
directly onto Google Cloud, even from there, if you wanted. Isn't always an
That's
option
right.
too.
Yeah, and that is definitely a simple way to do it. But if you want to control your own destiny, let's say, you don't have to publish it directly from here. And I don't know if they still let you do this, which is interesting. You used to be able to download it. I'm not sure where that is anymore. Oh no, share. Yeah, I don't know if you can download the code anymore. TBD on that. But that's why you share it to GitHub. So if you don't have a GitHub account, you want to create a GitHub account, connect whatever you built in AI Studio to GitHub, and then you can take it anywhere else.
Yes.
So all of that to say, that turned into this application I made here called FlowState. And FlowState, I basically is like the next iteration of this tool. And it's like a local writing tool. You can bring any agent that you want to it. So in this case, I have Kimi K2 hooked up here, but you can use Gemini, you can use lots of agents, and it just helps you write with AI on your computer.
I love it.
And started in AI Studio and brought it to GitHub, and then I said, make this executable that I could then run on my computer as an application.
I remember when you.
Any questions? Yeah, and I'm not saying that this is like a perfect application or anything like that. It's just, hey, I have a problem that I'm trying to solve.
Yeah.
How do I solve it? How do I create a local writing application?
That's the
And
whole mindset, I think, right there, Grant.
yeah,
Is I got a problem. How can I solve this? Yeah, you can throw money at it and pay someone else, pay for someone else's. But the
yeah,
truth is, I'm finding that this way, much like with the espresso, what I'm getting is better. It's catered to me. It's feels a little bespoke.
yeah. And I won't get too much into the weeds of how this works. If you're interested, we can talk about it. But basically, it's just a simple tool to work with an agent on the sidebar here, kind of like the demo that I showed you before. And I can just where's the agent window? I can send feedback to it, etc., etc. So, oh yeah, this little guy. Once I turn on the agent, I can deploy an agent anywhere, and
Heck
it's set
yeah.
up with my writer tool, and then I have
Writer.
hot prompts saved, styles, etc.
I like the critic.
Yeah, thank you, thank you.
It's a good idea.
So that was the next, I would say, application that I did complete end to end. So
Yeah.
first step was Chrome extension, and published that, just locally. You can share it to the Chrome extension store, which Corey can talk more about that.
Yep.
The Chrome extensions I make are only for me. Um, then I forked some or cloned somebody else's server, and I started making changes to it. And then I prototyped an application in a free tool like AI Studio. You could use ChatGPT or Claude Code to prototype as well. AI
Hmm.
Studio is nice because it shows you the visual on the sidebar. Claude Code and ChatGPT now both do that, so they're both helpful at that now. And then I took that code, added it to GitHub, brought it to my desktop, and then I created an application out of it. Now, another tool. Let's see. For the interest of time, I'm gonna go straight to two different things. The first one is when I wanted to create a website, like my personal website.
Uh-huh.
I wanted to find out who is the best website editor, or like who's the best website host for that process.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of research. I tried to figure out, who is not going to, cost me as the most amount of money,
Yeah.
who's going to give me the most amount of flexibility, features, et cetera, et cetera. And I landed on Cloudflare. So this website that you're looking at now was created entirely with coding agents, and it's hosted on Cloudflare. And I actually recommend this to anyone who wants to host their own website and is comfortable going into ChatGPT or Codex or something like that and just asking
Yeah.
it for help setting that up. And in fact, Cloudflare has a bunch of API. What's the simplest way to put this? Cloudflare has plugins that you can use with Claude Code. It might also work with ChatGPT
Oh, nice.
that helps you do a lot of that process. So you can just literally be in your coding agent, like
Update my website. Yeah.
yeah, literally, yeah. So let's see, where do I go to plugins here? I sometimes forget where everything is. Well, for example, I'm in this chat here, and I can just backslash Cloudflare, and wabam, all of the different tools are here.
What was
And
that
I can
again?
always say that again,
What was that?
backslash
Wabam.
Cloudflare.
That was my
Oh,
favorite.
wabam. Yeah. Or you can just literally chat and say, hey, use the Cloudflare tool to fix this, right? Yeah. So that is how I'm hosting this website right now. It's called a Cloudflare worker. And the easiest way to explain it up, I would say it's best for tiny tools, lightweight web apps, simple APIs if you want to host simple APIs. And it's cheap, fast, and easy to connect to GitHub. So here's the thing. So once you have your tool that you've created in AI Studio and you connect it to GitHub, you can then connect it directly to Cloudflare and with your coding agent say, hey, publish this to Cloudflare. You can buy a domain from Cloudflare for like $5, $10, something like that. So then you actually own the actual domain name. So in this case,
Yeah.
for my personal website, I own this website name. Uh,
Yeah.
and then you can say, let's make an update and let's ship it. And what happens is the coding agent will send it directly to the changes to GitHub, and GitHub is connected to Cloudflare. And once it changes on GitHub and GitHub updates, Cloudflare will update automatically. So I could ship a change to my website right now, and it will automatically update. And I'm going to do that. So where was I?
I like
One
it.
of these chats. Okay, this one. Okay, let's do it.
Okay. I'm
So
excited.
you don't even know what it is. It's just like, let's go ahead and update this right directly to GitHub right now. So what I'm using right now is I'm using Claude Code. and Claude Code is a coding agent like ChatGPT's Codex or
Yep.
what I just showed you with AI Studio. But
Both
there's two
great
different
tools, in
versions.
my opinion, by the way.
Yeah, yeah. There's two different versions you can use. There's a local one and a cloud-based one, but the local still is cloud. It's just that it works with the files local on your computer. If that
But the
makes sense.
cloud your AI is on the cloud. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. So you still send files over, which is why you need the business agreement with them to protect
Yeah.
it. And if you want to change the settings so that they don't train on your chats, you go to privacy and you turn off help improve our AI models. So you see this, turn that off.
Yeah. Unless you wish to give them your data and help improve their AI models.
Which you can, you're welcome to do that, but for John's purposes, you don't really want to
Yeah.
be doing that. Yeah. Um, any questions on this? I know I kind of rambled a bit. I was a little nervous, to be honest.
That's okay.
I'm not normally nervous
Grant's like, I
on
normally
these.
don't roll out these things in public.
Yeah, yeah,
Grant, would
yeah.
you mind talking a little? You don't have to show it off if you don't want. Would you mind talking a little about Squirreled?
Yes, I will.
I know
So,
you say Squirrel World, but I'm calling it Squirreled because it's a fun word.
yeah. So I will definitely talk about that. If you want to host a website, I think Cloudflare Workers is great. But let's say
Cool.
you want to host something a little more complicated, like Debbie. I don't know if she's still in the chat earlier. She said, "Man, I want to make a club for people.
Yeah.
Probably that means some sort of like social network or some sort of you
Yeah.
know networking messaging
Way to manage
component.
users.
It's going to have users and it's going to have a database. That means you're going to need to have a database hosted somewhere. So you can't just host a website and be able to keep track of all of these users. You need what's called a database, and the service that I use for that is called Railway. And
Yeah.
Railway, hosts basically a server that I have put, like in my case, a video game on, and it has a database attached to that video game code so that it keeps track of all of the people who join this game and manages all of that for me alongside Claude Code. So I've written all the
And it's
code so that
essentially a smaller approach to like an AWS or an Azure, right? Same idea.
exactly, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So people, that's probably too technical for a lot of people here.
You
But if
might
you
have heard of
want
those
any,
bigger ones, is why I wanted to mention it. Like you might be aware of
yeah,
those names. This is like that, but simpler.
exactly. So if you want to host anything, where you're going to be keeping track of user state or email addresses and passwords, you want something with a lot of security attached to it.
Yeah.
Cloudflare definitely has that. But what I did is I have a main homepage that's set up for this game that I'm about to show off, and then I have a database attached to it on the back end that keeps track of all of the users and et cetera, et cetera.
I just want to take a second to say that having played this game, it is so
Don't
much
hype
fun.
it up too much.
It is Grant's like, slow down, Corey, slow down.
Yeah.
It is I found it to be delightful and honestly, I played with Grant and our good friend Cal one night for 2 or 3 hours, well, probably 3 hours by the time you and I quit, and it was so much fun. We ran around and we killed things with our squirrels. My squirrel was pink with like a mohawk. If I could find the picture, I'd share it.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me talk through the process of this. So I just mentioned, so I have a database hooked up to this. So that means that anyone is able to create a character on here and they can come and play. And the way that this started was I was testing out Fable 5 and I wanted to see what Fable 5 could do.
Mhm.
And in the process of, I don't know, like literally saying in the corner on the right hand side, like in a tab that I forgot about, I was like, oh, go make like a 3D isomorphic dungeon crawler about squirrels.
Yeah,
And it created the very first pass of this on its own. And then I've been iterating on it ever since.
and
'Cause I'm
now
like, wait a
Corey
minute,
won't
this is
shut up
kind of
about it,
cool.
and here we are.
Like, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. But basically, the way that I hosted this is so I started it in a Claude Code session. So I opened up Claude Code
Was
and I
this
created
Fable?
a new tab. Yeah, this is Fable down here. And I first created a plan, and I was like, okay, we're gonna create a plan. How would you create a 3D isomorphic dungeon crawler without squirrels? And then it comes up with the plan. And then I turned on auto mode, And auto mode is helpful because it helps you skip all of the permissions that you normally would go through, and you're not sure what the hell you're signing up for when you go through it. And it only gives you the permissions that are really important for you to know. So
Yeah.
this is what the creators of Claude Code recommend you use. You recommend use it with auto mode. And I use local so that it can create the code locally on my computer. So for someone like John, who's maybe a little bit more nervous about giving his ideas to a tool like AI Studio, you could use local mode here, and that way, at least the code itself, the files are on your computer. Then I connected it to GitHub, as we talked about before.
By the way, in Codex, that same mode is called Approve for Me, where it's like it only asks
Yeah,
for actions that could be unsafe.
right. And then, so if you go to customize and I think my one is, oh yeah, down here. You would connect it to GitHub. So under connectors, we talk all about this in another session, so I'm not going to
Yeah.
spend time on this. Here's all the Cloudflare ones I was talking about. GitHub integration. You would connect it here so that you can, anytime you edit code locally on your computer, you can send it to GitHub and save it so that it's safe. If, for example, somebody or like the AI agent messes up and it deletes something, it's like, okay, well, you have a version of it on your cloud
Yeah.
that you can always roll back to. So that's the work process there. I created the version, then I went to GitHub, then I made a website for Squirreled on Cloudflare. So I literally just asked the agent, I was like, help me set up on Cloudflare. I did all the research, I found out Cloudflare is the one I wanted. Help me set this up with Cloudflare. Set up the website for me. Then I went to this website called Railway, and Railway is where I set up my database and my server. So the reason that anyone can go to Play Free in browser and go to play.squirrel.com and play this is because, well, turns out it's hosted on Railway. And now anyone can come here and play it. So
That's so
go ahead
awesome.
and show you. Okay. And so here's the game.
Really, what a great
So
name.
literally, if anyone wants to join, you can go to play.squirrel.com. Play. Like Corey, you could join this right now.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay. And you can come
I
on
have
here.
to remember my name. Oh, wait, I do.
And it's like a fun little game that is hosted online, made entirely with AI and my feedback and my friend's feedback who played it and said it was fun.
It is very fun.
Yeah. So the way that you do this is you start in Fable or, Claude Code, Codex, whatever. You have it create a plan, you turn on auto mode, you have it start putting the plan together. Once the plan is ready, as a non-engineer, what you're going to say is you're going to say, okay, explain to me exactly how this works in non-engineering terms so that I understand exactly what you're going to do. And then have a back and forth with it. Ask questions like, why did you do it this way? What does this mean? Hey, I would like you to do it like this, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if that's too intimidating to you, I have another tool that I think is actually a good way to start. And that's claude.ai/design. And we talked about this a bit in the last stream, but this is a fun way to go straight to just the front end of like the website. So for example here, right, this is play.squirrel.com. But if I just went to squirrel.com, I created this website entirely in Claude Design. So I just said like, hey, make me a website for this game and I connected my GitHub once again. As you can see, GitHub is like the source of truth that you want to have all of your information in so that you can share that to any tool and you can work with the same code base on any other tool. And it went ahead and mocked up the website. And I can literally show you the chat.
Sorry,
that
I got
have
stuck
here.
running around and squirreled.
Are you on?
I am, I
two
got
squirrels
sucked in.
playing. Oh yeah, amazing. What's up? There's Corey. What up? We're playing live right now. Like y'all, I did not know how to do this a year ago, 2 years ago. Like it is.
How
this
insane
wild
is
to me.
that?
Yes. Oh, by the way, I added tail flips, tail tacks.
I need acorns. I just nearly got killed by a field mouse.
Yeah. But this is the website. This is literally like you can see it's pretty much exactly as Claude created it here. And essentially, what I said, let me zoom in. Check out the scrolled repo in my GitHub and make me a launch website for it. That's literally all I said. So
Yep.
Fable created the first version of it, and then I could take that and then take it into Cloud Design and make a whole launch website for it. Um, Another example, let's say you wanted to start with something directly in the like from scratch, right? Like let's say you're Debbie or you're John and you have an app idea and you want to create an app or a website, and you are maybe intimidated by Claude Code. You're like, what the heck is this thing? I don't know what it's saying to me. Just
Yeah.
come to Claude Design and say design a web page. In our case, we have existing IP here, so I said design a web page for Neuron AI newsletter. Literally all I said, and then it mocked up this website for me. And now I can come in here and I can make edits, I can make tweaks, I can, say, hey, change this asset, change this. I can give comments, so I can comment on, like, change this to say Debbie's Clubhouse or whatever, whatever it is, and you can basically just come in and start iterating on, you don't have to worry about all the back end code and how it works. You
Yeah.
can just focus on the front end and the design. And I think that's a really fun way to get started with a project, very similar to AI Studio, where you just want to go from what's in here to something that exists on here, and then you
Yes.
can iterate on it, right? Like
And
you
you're
can,
probably thinking too hard, if I'm
yeah,
going to be
yeah.
honest.
Oh yeah, like here's a great example. So, um, funny enough, they don't have bummer. Well, they don't have the microphone on Cloud Design, but you can go into the microphone here, and you can just start rambling and say like, here's my app idea. Like I, want to make a club for people in my community. I wanted to, make sure that, that everyone can log in and have their own email and password, and that password
Yeah.
is safe. I want to set it up with like these different clubhouses, and I want to make it very easy for people to post. And I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm a non-engineer, so I'm going to need your help with setting that up.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to host it on Cloudflare, and I want to host my database either on Cloudflare or on Railway. But you tell me what is better for me. My budget is roughly this a month, so let's
Yeah.
be cost conscious here. Don't recommend me the moon. And also, I would love if you could, walk me through step by step the process of what you're building and how you're creating it, and help me understand well how you're approaching it and you're thinking about it, so that we can both learn together. And I'm a non-engineer. I think I've said that, but I really need you to hand hold my hand through this process. But let's get technical. Let's actually do it. Let's I want to have a working prototype by the end of this session, and whatever you want to say there. And then you hit accept, and then you can either send that directly in the chat wherever you started, or you can take it to Claude Design and you can
And
just
drop it
send that.
literally there. Yeah.
And then what's going to happen is Claude isn't going to just immediately jump into building the thing. Instead, what it's going to do is it's going to ask you a series of questions to help better
Yeah.
understand what you're looking for. And as you can see here, I'm getting asked a series of questions. What kind of community is this for? You can answer hobby groups, my neighborhood, local community. Name 2 to 4 real clubs you'd expect on day one. Soccer, we love FIFA. Um, what can people post? Text updates, photos, events. How do people join clubhouses? Request to join. Whatever you want to do here. You can also just pick decide for me, and it'll decide for you.
I love
And
that.
we go ahead and hit continue. I didn't give it nearly enough information, so I have no idea what it's going to create. But what's great about this is once it has something here that you can download, you have a lot of different, or sorry, once it has something here that's actually front end code that's designed, you can
Yeah.
then hit share, and you can either publish it as an artifact, when you can actually publish it, similarly to how you can publish with ChatGPT sites. You can also download it as a PDF, as a zip file, or even a PowerPoint if you're making presentations. Um,
Project or HTML though would let you go and let Claude Code take it over and make deeper changes if you wanted.
Exactly. So what you could do here, and this is literally what I did with Squirrel. Where did it go? Oh, it would be over here. But that code that I showed you before for the the website. Like even this, like I created this in Claude Design, and then I just downloaded that zip file that I just showed you, took it to Claude Code, and I said, "Hey, implement this. Like spin this up for me. Let's create the back end for this code that this code file." And it does it. Like that's what's
I love
crazy
it.
about this.
It's insane.
Yeah,
It really
it's
is,
so
and
wild.
it's increasingly insane every month.
Yeah.
Uh, what can be done? You want to show? We're getting a little close on time. Looks like we still have a few people though. Do you have a? Do you want to go through another or?
I think that's probably good. I there's one that I'm working on right now that's called Orchestrator, and essentially this is trying to be like Slack, a way to manage your chats with AI, but in a Slack thread format.
Like
So
Slack
it's a
for
little
agents?
bit, yeah, it's a little bit over designed right now, I think. But
I know that
let's say
feeling.
like, let's say Corey and Grant live test, and then I can say like, "Hey Claude, what's up?" And basically that's going to start a Claude Code session. And I've got the floating chat over here that can move around. And let's say
I love
like,
that.
are you fully operational? Probably not,
That's okay.
because it's a live test. But there's a lot of different views. Like I've created a lot of stuff that I'm playing around with, and who knows? You know, seems
Yeah,
like it's not working, but
something
that's
I'd
why
like
you got
to.
to keep working on it.
That's right. And
You
if
know,
you're working on stuff like this, I'd also like to recommend checking out the Neuron Academy. Just a few weeks ago, we launched a new educational platform designed to for people starting at beginner and moving forward. Kind of we've built out the base, and it's going to continue building on top of it for a good long while. The neuronacademy.com. We'd love for you to come try it out and let us know what you think. Hopefully, it'll be a lot of help. Is the idea, and it's very much intended for like people who aren't in a coding background. Like the idea is like learning AI for normal people. People who are at work and their boss is telling them use more AI all the time, and you're like, what does that even mean? This is for you. Is what you should,
yeah.
and is set up in a way to no matter where your beginning is, you have a good place to start, and we'll be building on top of that for years and years to come. We hope so. I hope as you go check it out. Grant over there popping around on the field mice. I see. Grant, zoom in and show him your squirrel.
Squirrely. Actually, the thing I'm working on with this right now is I'm trying to build an in-game map editor so I can place things. This is a admin account.
We got a question, Grant.
What's the question?
What is the
What's the difference
difference
in
in the
outcome?
outcome?
Go ahead.
What's the difference in the outcome of creating your app in a desktop or terminal versus in something like Cursor?
Okay, let's think about this. Desktop versus something like Cursor.
That's a good question. I mean, in outcome, I think you could go either way you want. I mean, as long as you're, making
Yeah.
sure, uh, making sure you've made, safe decisions to the best of your ability. Always run through a code review. I can't stress that enough because I've never said do a code review and it not found two or three. Usually one big thing and a handful of little small ones is what is found. Um, so as long as you're doing a code review, running a security review, making sure that you've done it as safe as you can, um, I I don't think there's that big of a difference, but I'm not
There
qualified to answer that.
There really is no difference in outcome, I would say. Perhaps there's difference in capabilities. So what are the different capabilities that you can do in Cursor versus you can do in Claude Code? Like one of the nice things about Claude Code is, let me do my scrolled chat over here for a second. So, in Claude Code, it gives you a preview version. I'm sure Cursor does this now, right? but you can run the game in the preview right here, so you can test it, play it out. Also, if you're using Claude models, the people who use Claude models the most, are Claude engineers, and so they're building Claude to work a certain way. But yeah, I mean, frankly, you can use any agent. What we call these is agentic coding tool. You can use any agentic coding tool to start creating your code. Um, it's just what your preference is. Like I don't think there's really
Yeah,
like people are very opinionated on this, and if I'm new to the engineering community, but engineers have been opinionated about software and setups and code stacks forever, right? And they
absolutely.
are very tribal about it. So
Just like as a guy
my
who's worked with writers for years, writers are
yeah
very finicky. They like their tools. They have their ways. They'll stand and die in favor of the Oxford comma or something.
yeah
Engineers are very, very much like that. Everybody has their ways, their preferences, the ways they like to approach problems, the dependencies they like to use because they know them, they trust them, and they know that this is going to be around. So, um,
Like this is, by the way, this is the ChatGPT app. This is Codex. This is another option. I
yeah,
think on my computer I have all of them. I have Cursor. I have Factory. I think Windsurf's gone, but now it's Devin. Like there's all these different ones that you can
yeah.
use. I would say just try the one, like test them all on a project and go with the
Yeah.
one that you find the easiest to work with.
I like
Um,
Factory. I don't talk about them enough either. We've had them on before. Their co-founder CTO Eno Reyes has been on, and he's a really nice guy. They're a young company that just blasted like a rocket out of nowhere as kind of a cursor alternative, a frontier lab alternative, where of course you can use any model you want, uh,
yeah.
and it's a great tool. They're all becoming increasingly great tools. I think find what you like.
Yeah.
If you're a person who likes to switch between uh, Claude and Codex models, I mean between Claude and OpenAI, oh, Anthropic and OpenAI models is what I'm trying to say. If you
Yeah.
like to switch
Yeah.
between those, it's worth at least considering a factory, a cursor, or something like that, because with those you can access both models together.
I
And
personally find like this might look kind of intimidating. Where'd it go? This might look kind of intimidating to you, like like this whole setup right here. Like they have all these like
yeah,
sessions and pull requests and blah blah blah. What is all this stuff? We do have a intro to Claude Code class on our Neuron Academy, by the way. So if you're interested in
yeah,
that, we talk all about that.
yes.
Um,
And I dropped
but
recent Grant's beginner's guide into the chat a few minutes ago as well. We got a
thank you very
question
much.
here that
Thank
I
you very
think is
much.
important. Code review before or during the setup? Yes, that's my answer. I usually do it a few times. I may not
Yeah.
have to do it a few times, but usually what I'll do is at the first draft, I'll do it because I'm of the belief that if you catch a problem early, it's going to fix easier and cleaner. I always wind up doing it again somewhere in the middle just to make sure. And then it's the last thing I do after before sending.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the right call. Like just and you can ask it in the initial plan. Like I think it's very important to have a back and forth before you start building
Yep.
anything. Unless you're doing a mock-up on AI Studio and it's you're just kind of iterating and messing around. If you're going to this one here, Codex or Claude Code, just ask it questions. Be like, did you consider, make sure you consider security and like let's make this as secure as possible and think
Yeah.
about this
And
robustly
if
from
what
that
you need to
perspective.
say is listen, I'm brand new to this and I don't know what the hell I'm doing, just say that.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
absolutely okay. Uh, and
Yeah.
it will make sure that you know what you're doing. They both do a really good job of better than they used to of kind of trying to help educate, protect you from yourself a little bit.
Yeah.
But I
One
can't
of
recommend it enough. Go build something fun. It can be, if you got a hobby, something you love, go build something related to that as a test. And just, I
squirrel.
like squirreled. Grant's hobby is squirrels and
Yeah.
worlds. Yeah,
Yeah. You know.
it's
But
such a good game.
another thing I would recommend, which we haven't said yet, but I think is helpful, have the end goal in mind. So when you start
Yeah,
a project, like tell the agent, hey, I actually want this to be I want this to be on desktop. I want this to be on mobile. I want this to be a web app. Like,
I'm gonna want to
engineer it.
monetize this at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like engineer it with all of those things in mind, because the more that you think ahead and you try to think about like, okay, what is the end state that I want this to be in, the better that the agent can then work backwards and say, okay, maybe you need to make this an Electron app. Maybe you need to make this a Atari app, whatever it is. You don't even need to know what those things are. You can just like say like, okay, cool, sounds good. And I just will frequently ask it. I'll be like, are you sure that you're engineering this so that it's going to work with all these different applications? Are you sure that,
Yep.
make sure that you look at the code base and then it's going to work for this XYZ feature? And just be constantly checking in with it and reminding it what your goals are, and have it save its work. Like, have it save its, they kind of do this automatically, but have it like, let's make a plan for this new feature that we're going to implement. And then let's review that and review that as a code, review that for security reasons, et cetera, et cetera. Um,
I agree.
Yeah.
We got another question from Sabrina here. If you were to build a phone app, would you go with Codex, Work, Terminal, based on your experience? If it's me, it's probably Codex, and Codex in the app. Uh, it's simple. It's a really friendly interface, in my opinion. Um, Most everything is pretty self-explanatory, with the exception of like if you get into the settings and you start wondering about forks and trees and some of that, like it's worth saying, take a screenshot of what you don't understand in the features and say, tell me what all of these are, and it'll walk you through them really good. All these tools are now very built to teach you about them, and
You can also tell it, like, if it gives you an answer that you don't understand, be like, I'm sorry, I don't understand what the hell you're saying.
yes, I've said it.
Yeah, and it will go in and it'll be like, okay, let me break that down.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. Oh,
yeah.
well, Grant, this has been a lot of fun today, going through our
Oh
various
yeah,
toys.
very fun.
We'll have to do this periodically because I foresee a future with many, many more of these. I'm sort of in hooked on it like a drug mode right now, and I think my
Sold.
next step is there's a couple of these I want to get onto the App Store. Like I want to finish Better Spent, which you didn't see today, but you will one day soon. I want to finish Circle Back, which is intentionally named one of those funny corporate phrases because I had to. No, don't apologize for the question, Sabrina. We are glad you were here. We're glad you asked. The truth is, we're learning a lot of this too as we go. So like please don't
Yeah.
think any of this is like we are seasoned years long experts. Like
No,
we're
because
we're
people who
learning.
are legit at this will probably tell us 100 things we did wrong.
Yes,
But
yes.
the point is, we have something, and you can have something too, and you can get it from what's up here. Not just onto the screen, but in a place where other people can use it.
Yeah.
And then if you find that people are interested in it and it's doing well, then you can bring on and actually turn it into a real business. And I think that's the right way to go about it.
It is. It is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of why I've been like with each of these, I've been like, if I ever wanted to monetize this, how would I do that? I've been asking that question kind of in the beginning and having it as part of the
Yeah.
initial plan. Like I don't want to right now. Right now, I want to see if I'm the only person who cares to use this. But at some point, I will. I've got one coming that's going to have a pro version next week. That's better spent. So, uh, just as a little heads up, basically, it is a stepped up version of Bean Counter designed to help people quit eating out every night. You can set savings targets, like I have trip to Dublin saved in mine, and skipping meals out in exchange for something else. You can set different savings. You can set different things you want to skip. The idea is to make it easier to break a bad habit,
Yeah.
and in exchange for turning either that time or that money into something that fulfills you, hopefully, you know. And we'll
I
see.
love
It's
it. I
got
think
it.
that's great. I like your ideas, because I feel like my ideas are always like way too ambitious, and yours are like, let me do one thing really really well.
I
I'm
want to do
like, let
one
me
thing great.
let me reinvent Claude Code but as Slack. Oh, it doesn't work? Yeah, because like
Like
that's a hard
shocker.
thing to do. like yeah, you should probably like spend some
18 of
time
the
on it.
world's best engineers built it. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Oh,
you can go, you can try both approaches, but if you're serious about trying to get something that other people can use, start simple, right? Like make
and
it as
I
simple as
want to
possible.
double down on what you just said in the comments there, that for code reviews, use the highest intelligence possible. That's very
Yeah.
much like when I talk about trying to make sure you have the right task for the job. Like, if I'm using a lesser model, it's because I'm convinced 2 models ago that was already pretty solved. Like it's really good at this part of that, and but things like planning, things like maybe uploading to the iOS store, things that have consequences. That's a good place to make sure you're spending your money where accuracy really really matters. You know.
Yeah. I've also been, one thing to do is like take a look at X and Twitter, where a lot of the engineers who are building with this stuff share ideas. Because, for example, I put together this plan here, and I asked it to explain it to me. I was explaining our rules for farming out work, and it basically goes through and it says, okay, Fable is the primary driver for hard design, for taste critical work, orchestration, etc. Use Opus for well specced out builds, for planning reviews, etc. Like I have it like this is all something that I told it. I was like, hey, just save this to your memory and follow this anytime.
Yeah,
So anytime I start a new chat now, I have like this one folder where I start all my projects in, and then I have it go off to other projects and
I
do stuff
love
from there.
that.
Yeah.
I love that. I built a skill. I'm trying to find it now. Earlier this year, model policy skill.
Hmm.
Now, this is back when GPT 5.2 was around, but you could really easily drop this and tell something to update it. I'm gonna grab you a link. I'll drop it in the
Yeah.
chat
If you
here.
want to share your screen as well, you can if it's
It's
helpful.
I built this when uh, OpenClaw was new. The first time I had that 840 million token weekend, I
Yeah.
that was or whatever it was. I was like, ah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
uh,
That's
and
wild.
I and I did this. It essentially built out this model policy that's like reserve premium models for where work quality differences materially change outcomes. Use strong mid-tier models for agentic synthesis and multi-step tasks. Use the cheapest for procedural, deterministic, or monitoring work. Like if you're going to a website and collecting articles, you don't need the magic intelligence in the sky. You need the medium intelligence or the lower intelligence.
Yeah.
So it's very tied out to tier 1, 2, and 3 tasks with selection rules, grade triggers. This is like I said, and this was built specifically for my OpenClaw. So it was GPT 5.2 as my big monster model when it was the
Yeah.
big monster model.
Yeah. That's
Mercury
great.
2 for agentic workhorse stuff because it was cheap and lightning fast. So it cut down on the latency in OpenClaw for me. And GPT 5 Nano for operational plumbing. And honestly, there are still things I use 5 Nano for. Just because it's small, it's fast. If it's just retrieving stuff and it's plenty and it's pennies on the dollar compared to everything else, with the exception of Mercury 2. Mercury 2 is affordable, buddy. It is. I
Nice.
mean, it's like $5 a million output or something, or remember. Uh, but it makes everything else look like a ripoff.
Yeah.
And I think they've got something new cooking up too. I saw a couple of interviews this week, so I'm gonna look into that because I like the guys. We had Stefano Herman, who is a CS professor at Stanford in San Francisco area, and we had him on a couple of times this year, and he's kind of the guy behind Mercury. He wrote the early papers that created diffusion.
Yeah.
He
So cool.
he knows his stuff. Yeah, and he's also just a very nice guy, very smart, and and he really believes in that. So if you're ever interested in diffusion models, and I read something about diffusion models in a notification on my phone earlier, so there might be something there. Um,
Hmm.
but
We'll have to look.
yeah,
Yeah, we haven't done any research of
I
the
looked at no
bare news
news.
of the day. Yeah.
Anything could have happened right now.
Yeah. But I guess for me to wrap up, like I started experimenting with this stuff just for fun to make little tools that would help me do things that I really wanted to do, like the synonym Chrome extension, and then slowly but surely I upped my confidence to build other things.
Yes.
But it kind of the reason I've kept at it is because I thought like, hey, to continue writing this newsletter, I have to actually use these tools and know what the heck I'm talking
Yeah.
about, right? Like
Yeah.
to actually
Especially the
like say
ones you're
like
going to be
what
talking about every third day.
exactly. And but then I have just gotten so addicted to building things. I mean, if you couldn't tell from my like website that has like 15 different, or I think I have like 11 projects on it. You have even more than I realize. You have like 7 or 8 different projects that you've built.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
And I have a couple
so.
that are now defunct,
Right.
that I,
Yeah. I mean, you saw some of mine don't work.
yeah.
So it's just one of those things where it's like I just have fallen in love with building them. And I think, I'm not trying to turn any of this into a business. I'm just doing it all for fun.
Same.
But
I
but
would take
it's
mailbox money.
I
Sorry.
would I would take any money if
I
I
would,
could figure
I
out a
would,
way.
that's my idea is like I get this fantasy vision of like mailbox money that
Yeah.
just arrives while I'm checking the mail and drinking coffee in the morning.
Passive income, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Passive
But
income.
I just think this is such an empowering way of the future. Like I think everyone will build their own, like if you have a business or if you're a solo entrepreneur, like you should have your own website. Like you can make one like today. Like you could follow like maybe like we'll put this together in a step-by-step playbook as well
Yeah.
that goes with this article. But you could y'all, you can have at least a personal website by tomorrow if you don't have one. Like,
By dinner.
yeah, by like in an hour. Like this is easy stuff. Um, like I helped my friend set up a website with Cloudflare pages, and he's not an engineer, he's just a writer, but he has been just iterating on it. And he's made like such a cool website, way cooler than mine. Mine I like did a couple iterations on. I'm working on a V2, but he's just all obsessed with it,
That's
and he's just
awesome.
a writer, but he's using Codex and he goes directly to GitHub and then that updates on Cloudflare and he can just
I'll tell you
iterate and
what,
make.
GitHub took me a long time to get the hang of.
Yeah, I
Uh,
agree. It's intimidating at first.
it is intimidating and confusing. And like you go into a repo and you don't always know even what to do. Like, what do I download? What do I click? Can I run this? So it's
Yep.
easy to be intimidated. But as we always say, take a link, go ask your AI. It'll
Yeah.
know what to do.
No,
I
like
want to play with this and make it run it.
everything that we've learned, we've just done it and then like said like, okay, show me how to do this, and then you get to the step where you're stuck, and then you take a screenshot. And you're like, this doesn't match what you said, and then
Yes.
it like course corrects, and yeah,
Just ask the question. It
yeah,
really is that easy most of the time. Well,
yeah.
everyone, Grant, thank you, man. This has been an absolute blast. I enjoyed seeing all your toys and seeing how you're making progress, and it was fun to get to show a couple of mine off that I'm excited about too. And I hope that if you're here, you learned a little something, and if not, you were at least entertained or had fun. And we will be back theoretically next Thursday. So I don't know what we're talking about yet, but we will let you know when we do. Make sure you check out yesterday's podcast that dropped as well. We had an interview with Matthias Umberoth. Is that right? Yes.
Yes.
From Interlogic, dealing with autonomous surgical arms and stuff. Really neat conversation. I wasn't there. Grant did that one, and it was a really good chat. I enjoyed watching it, and he's a neat guy. Uh,
We
Matthias, not
should
Grant. Grant's not neat at all.
No, I'm complete trash human. Sorry, so you have to put up with me. But get so RBT Cat said in the chat, GitHub is not for a newbie. We're trying to make it for newbies. We're trying to empower newbies to use this tool. Fun fact: someone should make GitHub for newbies. Like that would be like that would crush it in today's age. But we
That
should
sounds
have
like
someone
mailbox
from
money.
maybe that's our next project, Corey. Maybe we do a collab. Um, but we should have someone from GitHub on to explain it to people for beginners because I agree, it's not for everybody. Well, no, it is for everybody. It is easy. All you have to do is get it set it up and then have the agent help you manage it.
Yeah,
Like it is that easy once you
yeah.
get
I
it in
don't
that point.
upload anything. Like
Yeah.
that's just handled. I mean, I get in there and I check things and I make sure, and but as far as like actual management of it, most of that's not me. If I'm in there, I'm looking
Yeah.
at other people's stuff most likely.
Yeah.
Um, well, we had Scott Hanselman on last month, who was pretty big at GitHub for a while, but I may reach out and see if we can't get somebody GitHub for a live stream next month or something.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. Like a couple
I
of those
think.
things. It's just like you just need to understand this. Let's just have the conversation, and
Yeah.
then we can always share that link when someone asks. We've always got it
Yeah.
there as a here you go. This will get you.
I
Uh,
agree. GitHub and publish app publishing. Those are the two
yes,
big ones we need to do.
those are the two
Yeah.
big ones. Yeah, yeah. We may hit the Apple App Store episode soon. We can do that.
Yeah.
Well, everyone, please like, subscribe, check out all the things. Go visit theneuronacademy.com. Sign up for Robotics Insider, our new sister newsletter. And otherwise, just have a wonderful week. Go build something cool and come tell us about it. Maybe we'll stick it in the newsletter or something. And
We almost always try to do that if we think
yes,
if it's ready for prime time. We will almost always share it. So
if
hit
you
us up
reach
at
out,
team.
let us know.
Yeah,
And
team at theneurondaily.com. Especially if you build something after watching these videos. Let us know.
yes, yeah, we want to know. We want to be helpful. Uh,
I'll let you wrap. I'm sorry.
oh, you're all right. All right. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. We appreciate every one of you, and we're grateful that you spent some of your Thursday afternoon with us. We will see you next time on the Neuron. Farewell for now, humans.
Bye bye.